TikTok, time to rock. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. To everyone who's watching from all over the world, it is your friendly neighborhood philosopher here, D. Wood. With me now, I've got Thaddeus, who is... Hey! The heck? Hold up. Every single time I go over on StreamYard with someone, it auto-reduces my... Check! It auto-reduces my volume, but now I'm onto it. Sometimes I don't catch on until people are like, your volume's too low! And I look, and being on people's loser StreamYard has lowered my volume. But now I anticipated it. It's like with Ida, when Ida actually tricked me a ton of times into reading a super sticker as if it's a super chat. But eventually I caught on. It may take me a while to learn, ladies and gentlemen, but I learn. Oh, yeah, I learn. The question is, are other people capable of learning? Or do they just keep doing the same stupid, disastrous thing over and over and over again like a beating drum? Well, we're going to find out, everyone. So, yeah, guys, everyone's been following the Malik situation for a long time. According to some of the clips with Malik and his buddy, he was actually getting a ton of his info on us that he was using to dox us from a lawyer. And so we're going to check things out because doxing is illegal in California. Doxing is illegal where they are in California. And so I would guess it would be illegal for a lawyer to be helping people dox someone else and so on. But I have this other question, which I do not know the answer because I'm getting very inconsistent answers from various government websites, the FBI, Congress, all of them, as far as what actually counts as terrorism. Like if you are giving out information used to basically like threaten to kill people and their families and things like that in order to, make your agenda win this whole situation. I don't know. That kind of sounds like terror to me, but I'm looking at other definitions, like the FBI's definition. That's not it. That's not the FBI's definition. Does look like kind of the definition on Congress's website. So we're actually going to check that out. We're going to figure out, well, keep in mind, we're not lawyers or prosecutors or judges or anything like that. We're reading descriptions of the law, according to states and the federal government and things like that, and then trying to figure things out. But so I seriously doubt I will be able to make any decisive decision on whether this is actually terrorism. But we'll look at it, and I'll ask you guys what you think, because we're in this awkward situation where they started doxing and going after family members. We could have done that. People started sending me information. As soon as this started, they were sending me Malik's home address, all his family members' home addresses and stuff like that. I didn't share any of that stuff because I'm not a doxer. But we have this additional situation where they're committing crimes and endangering lives. That's a different situation. So I'm not interested in doxing you so that people annoy you and harass you. If you are endangering people's lives and breaking the law, well, that's a different situation. Now you can't just sit back. And so... we all understood back in February that Malik was breaking the law. Matter of fact, when he first started doxing people, he was breaking the law. He has broken tons of laws since then. He's broken the same laws over and over and over again, and broken many, many new laws. Well, why didn't you stop him right there? Well, cool things happen when you let ultimate blabbermouths continue blabbing. They start giving information on everyone else and giving you information on who's working with them and so on. So now you end up with a big conspiracy. Conspiracies, that can be additional charges. And so we're gonna get to the bottom of this, not in the zoot sense. With me now, I've got Thaddeus, Thaddeus is one of the guys who's been watching all of Malik's stuff that he puts out on this issue since way back in the day. I've never, to my recollection, actually watched Malik while he's live. Even when he was live last night, I don't even know how. I mean, I know how to get on TikTok and stuff, but I guess you would go there and look up the channel, but he changes his channels all the times and stuff like that. So I was paying attention to some of my friends sharing comments about what was going on, and that's how I stayed aware of the situation and so on. But anyway, Thaddeus has been watching the stuff, and he put together the clips that are about Ramsey Abboushi, who is a lawyer. I've met him. I've hung out with him and so on. But did not know at the time that he was the one who was apparently giving Malik the information wherewith to dox us and harass us and such things. So, hey, Thaddeus, quick question. You sent a clip. You sent a clip to me where Ramsey said he was going to go ahead and join us. Did that change somehow? Because I don't see him. I said you could give him the link.
I gave him the link. So I did speak to him last night. He said that he was unsure if he'd be able to join. And also whether he wanted to join. Malik tried very hard to convince him not to join while they were live. He went, so just for context, he went up on Malik's program because he saw that David had posted this live stream, and someone told Malik about it, and Malik's like kind of freaking out, and he's like, get speaking in here so we can discuss this or whatever. And then so without an invite or anything, Ramsey just blurts out, I'm going to go on their program tomorrow. And I asked David, hey, you want to give him an invite? And he said, sure. So I did send him an invite. He did respond to me. We did, have a few back and forth comments. Now, after he said that, Malik immediately said, don't do that, right? No way, you should never do that, right? So, and no doubt other Muslims have said the same thing, tried to convince him not to go on. Maybe family members. I mean, I'm just speculating here, but I'm sure people told him not to. We'll see if he does. He has been given the link. He does have the opportunity.
That is that's kind of a difficult call, right? That's kind of a coin flip situation. So you're a lawyer. You've been doing something that to us definitely looks illegal. So you've been helping someone, apparently, as far as we can tell, helping someone commit various crimes. And then you're being exposed for it. And there's a live stream exposing you for it. Do you want to go on there and talk and be asked questions? Well, from a lawyer's perspective, you'd think no. But at the same time, if we all of a sudden understood, okay, well, this guy's not as bad as we think he is right now, that would affect like how much we're going after him and so on. But maybe they don't make the mistake of blabbing and giving more information side one in him.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a hard call for him. On the one hand, right, he could come and he could try to explain himself and defend himself. And just as a disclaimer, right, we are speculating to some degree. We don't have complete knowledge of everything that happened. And Malik is certainly a liar, so we can't just take what he says at face value. He was upset at Ramsey and said he was going to go after him. So we're going to try to evaluate things as best we can. His perspective here would potentially be beneficial, but it also is a major risk, right? You're up here live, and who knows what you're going to say live. So I understand why he would come. I understand why he wouldn't come. It's up to him,
Yeah, and like you were saying, I mean, he doesn't know what we're about to pull up and ask him about, and what he'd have to answer or dip on. So, yep. Totally understand. Hey, it's funny? Let me pull this up. This was, I did not ask Jai for permission to share this, but I'm doing it anyway. Where is it? So this was last night. This was last night. Jai messaged me and says, Malik is live. So he says, Malik is live. And I said, should I discombobulate him now or tomorrow? He says, now.
And you did. We definitely saw
would you say I discombobulated him?
Oh, yeah. You could hear it in his voice when he found out that you were streaming today and it was going to be on Speaking Muslim. And I think the reason why he's trying so hard to convince Speaking Muslim not to come up is not because he has some great concern for him. It's because Speaking knows stuff that Malik doesn't want
probably worry that he's going to have to spill the beans on Malik.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, Malik obviously would have more information on him as well, right? So you don't want to upset Malik, then Malik shares more information about you, and then you just don't know what to do. So one big mess, and that's why, guys, don't have people like Malik on your side. Don't get a lying, evil, snitching, pathetic narcissist who will just tell everything you've ever done the moment you annoy him or call him out for anything. Don't work with someone like that. It is never going to go well. Never, ever, ever, ever.
Yeah, so if I could just real quick on that notion, it's an awkward situation for me, at least me personally, maybe not so much for David since he's a psychopath, but I mean I do feel compassion for Speaking. He does seem to be a genuine guy for the most part. Malik, right? Malik just seems like a complete evil individual who has no sense of remorse or anything. We'll get into some of the details later, but Speaking does actually seem to be genuinely questioning whether Islam is the truth. And he does have a family. And but on the other hand, he did do things, at least as near as I can tell, right? He did do things that have consequences. Mm-hmm. And so I can't just ignore that either. And so the situation here is like, you know, I mean, I feel compassion for him as a person, but I mean, maybe that's exactly what he needs. Maybe he needs to get in actual trouble, and that's what will wake him up and get him out of Islam for real. So,
and whether he leaves Islam or not, if we're remotely correct in what we've understood he's been doing, he needs to not be a lawyer. He needs to do something else and not have. Mm-hmm. He needs to not be able to have that kind of power within the system, and so needs another career path and so on. Lest we're getting something completely wrong. So yep, that's what we're going to go through some clips on what happened, what's been going on, and check out some definitions of some various things. And you guys will also notice we have Issa here because he's an expert in. Oh wait, he just showed up.
I am an expert of showing up. And I love to do it. So here I am. They said, and when in Hebrew, they say, Hineni, here I am. Oh Lord, here I am.
Yeah, so Issa showed up, and so yeah, guys, we're going to take these first couple super chats, and we're going to jump right into the video clips. And after we go through the video clips, we're going to pull up some definitions of terrorism and see what we think, if anything fits here, and then of course how we'll proceed. But here's the weird issue, guys. When was it? It was like early February when we knew all this about Speaking here, right? We knew his name. Mm-hmm. We knew what his law firm was, his own personal law firm. We knew what he did. We knew all this stuff. We did not go after him over all this stuff. We knew that Malik was breaking all kinds of laws and so on. With Malik, it was more, okay, let me put it this way. There are certain things where we're going to call you on and going to, let's say, contact authorities over if you're, if you're going after Christians and so on. But if you show at some point that you're changing course or something like that, that's going to affect how we're approaching it, right? That's going to affect how we're approaching it and how diligently we approach things and so on. So we basically gave them Ramadan, guys. We gave them Ramadan to rethink their ways, ponder their mistakes, change their life course. We gave them that time. We had Thaddeus compiled the 101 ways. We had more. People sent us a ton of Quran desecration videos. Thaddeus compiled them into 101, sent it to me. All I had to do was add some voiceover and so on. But we were like, let's see what's up with these guys. I haven't added voiceover to it. We're gonna release them regardless at some point. But it's let's see how they're acting and so on. That would have affected the voiceover, affected when we released them, who we released them in response to, and so on. But they went ahead and Ramadan's over, and they were already threatening people. Like Warner was already threatening God Logic and so on. during Ramadan. And then what happens? Oh, we're going to punch Chris in the face. We're all going to make fun of Chris. Ha, ha, ha. We punch him in the face. And we're going to go online. We're going to start attacking God Logic's wife. And then Malik jumps in there and stuff. And it's like, all right, guys, well, you've made your intentions clear. And therefore, we know exactly how to respond. And we'll respond accordingly. So we're gonna have this tonight, and then maybe we'll discuss what's going to happen to Malik, because that guy is Thaddeus. Keeping in mind that you can break the same law multiple times. Like every time you dox someone, you have broken the law again. Every time you dox someone, you have broken the law again. And then all the other things, just like threatening people and stuff like that. He's breaking laws, trying to blackmail and extort. He's breaking laws. Based on the stuff we've seen, how many, again, considering that you can commit the same crime over and over and over again, how many crimes do you think he has committed that we've seen so far? If you just had to ballpark it.
Yeah, I mean, especially on the doxing, it's hard to count. I mean, I think he's committed at least like 4 or 5 distinct crimes, types of crime. And then there's many counts of doxing, a handful of counts of harassment, a few like blackmail, intimidation type charges. I don't know, between 30 and 50 probably.
That's a lot, guys. That's a lot. Now, it will be up to the prosecutor and so on to decide what to prosecute. I know from experience, long experience with the law, what they tend to do is they say, okay, here's a list of all the things we can charge you with and so on. Here's 40 charges that we can level against you. You plead guilty to these 5 right here and accept this sentence, and we'll call it even, Steve. And they tend to do like that. They don't want to go through like endless trials and stuff over a ton of stuff. So they do something like that, and then stupid Malik will have to decide what he wants to do.
Yeah, so we're not talking too much about Malik today, so I didn't include this clip, but he had the brilliant response yesterday that he hasn't committed any crime because he hasn't been arrested yet. So
wouldn't that be everyone before he's been arrested? Like, well, I haven't been arrested yet, therefore I haven't committed any crimes. Yeah. Malik, we haven't contacted police about you. We haven't gone to your jurisdiction and so on and reported this to your, because keep in mind, you're doing this stuff in California, right? I mean, I don't know what federal charges there are and stuff like this, but it would, doxing, that's a state law. That's a state law in California. You're breaking the state law in California. It would be the state of California that prosecutes you. So guess what? I don't know about anyone else. I haven't contacted the state police of California. I'm about to. So anyway, just heads up. So if you're wondering, well, I haven't got me, so I obviously haven't committed any crimes. Yeah, keep thinking that, sport. Keep thinking that, because Mike, I said this about Andrew Tate. When Andrew Tate, I was like, I was locked up for people. I never heard anyone who self-snitched as much as Andrew Tate. Like, it was not. I mean, he was like 100 times more. Like, people would make fun of people for accidentally confessing or something like that and getting themselves arrested or something like this, or even for during an interrogation falling for good cop, bad cop, and then you snitch on yourself. You make fun of people like that. And then Andrew Tate comes along like, I have my PhD course on all the crimes I've committed all over the, so how you can do it too. And then it's like, are you stupid? He would have been, people would have laughed him out of the prison if they could laugh someone out of a prison. And then Malik comes along. He's just like, hey, let me just commit tons of crimes all the time while I'm live. Yeah, look, here's me. Hey, look, I committed 5 more crimes during this live stream, which is being recorded by all these people who are about to compile it all and send it in a nice little file to the prosecutors and to police. Wow. Super smart, man. Super smart mastermind. All right, couple super chats, and then we'll jump into these videos, guys. I saw D Wood was about to stream. Not even in my own birth I arrived so quickly. Love y'all, beautiful creatures of God, especially D Wood. That is correct. Alhamdulillah, brothers. Alhamdulillah to you. Wasalami Bacon Al Zutbi behind him. What's up with this stuff, guys? Trying to have a nice show. Hey, Issa. Hey, Issadi and his 2 4-eyed sons. He called us 4 eyes, man. It's very rude. Hey, we all do have glasses. That's weird. Is the Dr. Sheikh Malik situation over? Are you joking? It's barely started. This ends when he's in jail. Is the Sheikh Dr. Malik situation over? I had to stop watching because every time I heard his voice on the streams, my brain cells were committing. Yeah, I have to say, I've only heard like, no, I did listen to one, most of one, and that was when he snitched on everybody. And there was the short version that went around. I actually listened. I think the full one was like an hour and a half, and I probably listened to like maybe an hour, maybe a little more of that. But yeah, it's a chat. I'm the wrong one. Word, chat. Yeah, yo, chat. Hey, yo, chat. Want me to snitch on somebody else? Hey, chat. Who you want me to snitch on now? Chat. I'm the biggest snitch ever. Chat. It's like, people listen to him.
Not a lot, in fairness.
David, why isn't belief in Yajuj and Majuj? Hey, Nordin's back. As soon as I saw Yajuj and Majuj, I was like, that reminds me of Nordin. David, why isn't belief in Yajuj and Majuj diagnosed as a delusional disorder? I've read some articles online. All of their criteria for bizarre delusions apply except culture and plausibility, which I think is an arbitrary one. Hold that thought, Nordin. Waiting for Jai to get back, but we are going to be discussing some Yajuj and Majuj, Gog and Magog. Not in the elbow deep sense. Issa, you should be glad you were not on our stream over on God Logic's channel. It would have shaken your belief in Islam, even your goofy Sufi version of Islam, with this powerful story about Muhammad saying, wash your hands because you don't know where your hands have been at night. And then the guy said, what are you talking about? Where are my hands going to be at night that I have to worry about washing them? Anyway, that guy woke up and it said his hand was up to his elbow, up his own butt. That's what you got. That's what he got for questioning Muhammad's wisdom. He woke up with his arm up to his elbow in his own butt. So then he was like, yes, this is the proof. Now I will never question Prophet Muhammad again. So weird stuff. Did you see Nick Matau's latest video with Armenian woman, likely Muslim pretending to be Ortho-Christian? Nope, did not.
I saw it. It was hilarious. It was really funny because he asked her about the Bible. She didn't know what the 4 Gospels were. She didn't know about them at all. She didn't know who Paul was.
Okay.
She didn't know who Paul was.
Do you know anything? Yes, I know about Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And who are you? I am Christian. I'm Christian. Yes, no.
But her big point was that she hated Jews, and I'm like, that's really weird. I'm like, it's like an illness when you hear someone say they hate Jews over and over again. You're like, there's something a little bit sick here. And then she blamed the Jews for. She said that the Jews attacked Armenians, that they came into Armenia and took over Armenia. That was her claim on the video. And Nick was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, what planet do you live on?
The Ottomans were against the Jews and they were oppressing. That's the point that he was saying. And it was so like towards the end of when the Ottoman Empire collapsed, everything went crazy, like the Assyrians, the Greeks, the Armenians, they all kind of suffered because it was just like the Young Turks were really bad. So, but like
the Young Turks are still pretty bad. You heard it here, Cenk. What's wrong with you, man?
That was funny. You're bad. That was wild.
Yeah, I know. All right, a couple more. Hey, Nordine again. We got 2 more from Nordine. I believe those delusions are demonic in origin because I can see they are teleological, designed to keep people deceived. Oh, you're saying for a purpose. Demons can also deprive a person of thoughts, e.g. skeptical thoughts. This is best illustrated by a psychological phenomenon called inattentional blindness, where a person lacks thoughts about objects, sounds in his surroundings. Hey, Reasoned Answers. Hunter versus Bear Season 2 is going to be great. Missed you. Do a recap, please. You do have the narrator cadence. There you do.
Sure.
Or a psychologist. Demons also weaponize emotions. Embarrassment, fear, awe, amusement, excitement, beauty, etc. They use these to subtly manipulate people. Just look around. Since the Turk is not here, finally, let me say Happy Easter without the I'm Orthodox, we have different days, we are special, you proto stupid response. Yep, it is good that we can all wish each other Happy Good Friday and Happy Easter and stuff without AP having to throw everything up. Ruin the mood. What's up with AP? He's an Orthodox cat human. Is he being baptized tomorrow? I am today Catholic. Pray for me in England. Oh, I actually don't know because Yeah, they got that waiting period and stuff like that, but that should be around. I don't know what the situation is. We'll get to the bottom of this, not in the zoot sense though. Just so you know, when the victims are in multiple states, a state crime immediately turns federal. So Malik's committed federal crimes, not state crimes. Well, I don't know if he's committing it in California. He's not committing the crime, in a different state, even if he's talking about someone in a different state. As far as I know, but. We'll see. All right, we're ready to jump into some of this.
Yep, let's do it.
All right, guys. So Thaddeus would normally send me a collection of video clips. He sent me video clips and some notes and screenshots and things this time. So let's go ahead and check this out.
So you just want to pause it there. I know it's a little small, but hopefully you can read it at least.
And then tons of words. You're starting off. You got to start off with excitement, explosions, things like that. You're starting off with, hey, words.
So this is we don't have to read the entirety of this, but this is the California Penal Code in regards to doxing, which is important because there's a lot of accusations of doxing going around, and we need to understand what we're actually talking about. I did kind of have to put it first, but yeah, it's not the most exciting thing in the history of the world.
Actually, it is. I mean, would have been nice if it wasn't 17 hours of reading here, but I guess it is since we're dealing with a ton of doxing. Good for everyone to know what we're talking about. So this is California law specifically? California?
Yes.
This is California. Yes. Okay. So this is the law where Malik is doing all of what we're about to find out, whether it's doxing or not. And apparently, based on what it sounds like in the clips, sounds like an actual lawyer was helping him do it, which would mean the lawyer was helping someone commit multiple crimes. So let's go ahead and read this. Chapter 2 of Other and Miscellaneous Offenses. Every person who, with intent to place another person in reasonable fear for his or her safety, or the safety of the other person's immediate family, by means of an electronic communication device, and without consent of the other person, and for the purpose of imminently causing that other person unwanted physical contact, injury, or harassment by a third party. In other words, you're posting something about another person so that a third party, someone else, can harass this person or injure or have unwanted physical contact and so on, by a third party, electronically distributes, publishes, emails, hyperlinks, or makes available for downloading personal identifying information, including but not limited to a digital image of another person. Wait, all those pictures he's been showing of all our families and everyone else? A digital image of another person, or an electronic message of a harassing nature about another person, which would be likely to incite or produce that unlawful action, is guilty of a misdemeanor punishable by up to 1 year in a county jail, by a fine of not more than $1,000, or by both that fine and imprisonment. So, in other words, that doxing there, which sounds exactly like what Malik did over and over and over again. Keep in mind, guys, every time he doxed someone, that's another charge right there. Right? And up to a year in prison. It's a misdemeanor, up to a year in prison for each time he did it. And he did it a bunch and recorded himself doing it. He posted himself doing this over and over and over again because he's a moron. Let's see. B, for purposes of this.
Hold on a second. Couple things to note here that people would not normally, think of, right? Notice how there's absolutely no mention whether this is public information or not. It's entirely about why you're sharing the information. So the defense, it's public information, I got it off their Facebook page, is not a defense at all. It's entirely based on why you're sharing it. It could be personal information that no one knows and it not be doxing, or it could be public information that could easily be found and it be doxing. It circles entirely around what your intent is. And if your intent is to get other people to harass them or cause them harm, which Malik explicitly asked people to do, so there's not really any doubt.
Yeah. In other words, it's not, oh, I was just trying to put up a picture and some information about my favorite YouTuber, and oops, oh no, what? No, I shouldn't have been doing that. Nope. It's about your intent. And he says it when he's saying, hey, no, everyone, now we've got his wife's phone number. Everyone call her up. It's the middle of the night. Call her up. What is that? He's made his intent perfectly clear. And he's always seemed to think that all he has to do is say, no, but my intention was it. He announces his intention. He thinks he can just walk into court and go, what? No, I'm a big fan. That's why I posted it. That's, by the way, Thaddeus, that's a problem. Muhammad Hijab had the exact same problem that this guy has. And this is a standard problem with like narcissists. They think they're way more believable than they actually are. And the people who follow them and surround them, they'll believe any idiotic thing the person says. But that programs them over time that anything I say is like believable because they're surrounded by complete morons. And then Hijab found out the hard way going into court with a judge and prosecutors and experts. It doesn't work at all. What did the judge say? He said this man's entire case is worthless or something like that, or his entire testimony is worthless. They instantly pick up, you sound like a compulsive liar. They pick up on that. Your stupid fans don't. Well, who does Malik talk to? 100 and some people on TikTok. A bunch of young idiots and so on who don't know anything. And they're falling for it. So this will really work with prosecutors and judges and police. When I tell them, what? I wasn't trying to harass them. I'm just a big fan, guys. He thinks that will actually work. Giant moron. Giant absolute moron. All right. So yeah, guys, the most significant characteristic of doxing is, why are you posting this stuff? If it's to get people harassed or threatened, if that's why you're posting it, you could take a picture. You could take a picture that you got from someone's Facebook page, post it with something encouraging people to harass and threaten that person. That's doxing. That's doxing, let alone like giving people's home addresses and phone numbers and places they volunteer at and stuff like that. School, bad stuff, man. Anyway, B. For purposes of this section, electronic communication device includes, but is not limited to, telephones, cell phones, computers, internet web pages like TikTok or sites, internet phones, hybrid cellular, internet wireless devices, personal digital assistants, video recorders, fax machines, or pagers. Electronic communication has the same meaning as the term is defined in blah, 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 blah. C. For purposes of this section, the following terms apply. Ooh, harassment. We get to find out what harassment means. 1. Harassment means a knowing and willful course of conduct directed at a specific person that a reasonable person would consider as seriously alarming. Really? Like calling a woman a bunch of times in the middle of the night while her husband's out of town? That sort of thing? Seriously annoying. It doesn't even have to be alarming. That a reasonable person would consider as seriously alarming, seriously annoying. Oh, you mean like repeatedly calling animal control on someone to come over? Animal control could go after him for that. Seriously tormenting or seriously terrorizing the person, and that serves no legitimate purpose. In other words, you weren't doing it for some other important reason where you just had to do that. Oh, I found out that, the person was incapacitated, so that's why I gave out the person's address or something like that, so that to send help there. Nope. 2, of a harassing nature means of a nature that a reasonable person would consider as seriously alarming, seriously annoying, seriously tormenting, or seriously terrorizing of the person, and that serves no legitimate purpose. This sounds like everything we see from Malik in every clip that I see. Interesting. All right, we're ready to, now we've got the definition.
And reasonable person there, I mean, that seems somewhat subjective, but it's really not, right? The court has heard many cases. They know exactly what this means. And it's not exactly a gray area here, right? In internet culture, everyone knows that putting out someone's home information is done for one purpose and one purpose only, and that's to intimidate the person.
Yep.
And so any reasonable person will consider this, what Malik has done, to be doxing.
Yeah, and that's another thing he doesn't seem to understand when he thinks, oh, I could just go into court and say anything. I can say I did it for this or something like that. It's not you. What you say is not the criterion, Malik. It's how would a normal, reasonable person interpret you posting their home address and saying, who's going to stand up for Muhammad? Who's going to stand up for Muhammad? How is a normal, reasonable person going to interpret that? Oh, but what I really did was, good luck, buddy. Good luck.
And side note, since Malik claims that you doxed him because you read a news article that happened to contain his legal name, no reasonable person would consider reading a news article that you found live that happened to contain a name as an attempt to intimidate that person or harass that person.
Yeah,
or
sent
whatever.
sent zero people after him, never encouraged anyone to go after him, did not give any contact info for him, and it's literally what pops up on the first page of Google when you search for Dr. Malik and so on. So, yeah, good luck with that. He thinks that's his defense. He doxed me. Here's the thing, Malik. What I did doesn't fit any part of the definition of doxing at all. What you do fits this perfectly, and you did it over and over and over again. By the way, now for in future live streams, we'll be sharing Malik's name and all that openly, because now we're going to be calling him out for committing crimes. And we'll keep everyone updated as we're sending out all the info and stuff like that. Yeah, in another live stream, because Malik's been running his mouth too. In another live stream, we'll focus on Malik. We're focusing on Ramsey here. But yeah, another live stream, we'll go through Malik. And yeah, then we'll be talking, his name's like Malik Gabertai. And what did he change it to?
Malik Hamza.
Malik Hamza.
And he
Malik
spells
Hamza.
it with an I instead of two E's. So his stage name he spells with two E's. His legal name is spelled with an I. So Malik.
Yeah, so guys, you're doxing me. We're making sure you get locked up for the crimes. See this little part here about no legitimate purpose? Calling out someone for committing crimes is a legitimate purpose. Malik, right? Getting you arrested for what you've done is a legitimate purpose. Very, very simple here. But you're too dumb to get any of it. Gosh, what an idiot. All right, let's watch this.
He's DOX'd speaking and his profession. Now, I want to say something right now that for me personally.
Hang on. So this looks like, because that's the thumbnail up on the screen. So this looks like last night right after.
Yes. So he is you in context. So David has doxed our friend Ramsey Abboushi by posting this thumbnail.
Yeah, so Ramsey Abboushi, as far as we can tell, is unless something really changes, but the information we have to go on, according to themselves, Ramsey is the one who compiled this huge file on us and our personal information and stuff, and he gave it to Malik so that Malik could use it to dox us, threaten us, harass us, and so on. Guess what? Me calling him out by name for committing a crime is not doxing. Why? There is a legitimate purpose for it, Malik. Stop embarrassing yourself, dude. What an idiot. Here we go.
Do you think this guy just wants attention?
Oh, he definitely wants attention.
He just sucks at it. Craving attention. It's like, I'm going to, try to ruin people's lives so I can get attention. It's gross. I'm like, and he doxes Muslim people too. It's super weird. Mm-hmm. He's doxing Muslims, Christians, and I'm like, I don't know, like, I believe in privacy. Like, I think it's super important to, like, you can have your media personality, but people have their life and they need to live their life. They don't need people coming to their spaces. It's crazy. It's insane what I'm seeing. Like, I don't, mind blown.
No, I mean, think about it. It's going to be, hey, Malik, where'd you get that picture of David's grandmother? Where'd you get that picture of David's wife and so on? Well, went through the social media. It's publicly available and stuff like that. It's like, okay, why'd you post it? Why'd you post it? You're in trouble, Malik. You're in all kinds of trouble, buddy.
It's and his profession. Now, it may be public, but you're being a stalker, and it's creepy.
I know it's creepy. I don't care about that. It's doxing. He's doxing people and fitting the definition of doxing people.
I want to say something right now that for me personally, everybody knows when I get mad that sometimes I can, fadiddle some stuff and show
Fadiddle? What the heck, man? We don't want to hear about your fadiddling, dude. Don't tell us about your fadiddling. But I mean, let me go ahead and correct you there, Malik. Everybody knows when I start getting annoyed, I start snitching on everybody around me, and I commit multiple crimes on camera. That's what I do. Yeah, we know you're you're a complete train wreck. And now we introduce you to the concept that your parents obviously didn't introduce you to, and that's consequences. You're a person who was raised without consequences, and you think rules don't apply to you, and so on. And we're gonna undo the damage that was done to you while you were growing up, buddy. Anyway, let's start that over so that we understand his fadiddling here.
He's DOX'd speaking and his profession. Now, I want to say something right now that for me personally, everybody knows when I get mad that sometimes I can, fadiddle some stuff and
But not the way the old Zut fadiddled Muhammad.
show different things, right? So he's going to use me as a testimony against speaking.
We're going to use what you said about speaking, pointing out that he was the one feeding you this information. We're absolutely going to use that. Fadiddling some stuff.
So we now have. So he said you were doxing. So let's see him fadiddling some stuff and see, which of the two of you actually doxed speaking Muslim.
All right, guys. So I have apparently doxed Ramsey. Let's see who actually fadiddled him.
Those Salafis just allowed him to dox my number. I mean, granted, I changed the number in 10 minutes, but still. It's still annoying, the fact that he was allowed to do that. Now I got to dox
Did you hear this? So he can't even say, oh, I don't know this stuff is annoying. He says, so someone shared his phone number. I think wasn't that accidental, if I recall?
Yeah, it was accidental. So
he was sharing his screen of he was sharing the screen of a message and wasn't paying attention to the fact that Malik's little number was up there. And Malik's like, this is so annoying. I had to change my number and stuff. And well, aren't you the guy that gives out people's phone numbers left and right and has a ton of people harass and call them? Yeah. See, guys, Malik, what Ramsey did, in that case at least, wasn't doxing, right? It was not his intent to get you harassed or anything. So guess what? He's clear. He's in the clear. What you do in response is doxing. It's your intent that you repeatedly talk about because you're stupid. Let's see.
Now, bro, do you realize what's going to happen to Ramsey Abboushi tomorrow? By the way, that's his name. You know his name is Ramsey Abboushi?
Wait, who doxed Ramsey here? Sounds like Malik just doxed him, gave his name. Let's see.
Bro, do you realize what's going to happen to Ramsey Abboushi tomorrow? By the way, that's his name. You know his name is Ramsey Abboushi? Ramsey Abboushi. Ramsey Abboushi is cooked tomorrow. Ramsey Abboushi is in, I'm telling you, he's cooked.
So this is just hilarious. He's accusing me of doxing the guy whose name we only know because he literally doxed the guy. Why did he give out that information? So people could attack and harass him.
Yep. He says tomorrow he's cooked. Here's his name. He's a lawyer. We're gonna see more clips of him giving information about Ramsey coming up. But his seems to have been for a purpose of intimidation, right? He's like, he showed my phone number on screen. Now I got to dox everyone. I got to dox him. His name is Ramsey Abboushi. Here's his phone number. Here's his address. Guys, we need to go after him right now. Obviously, he didn't say all that, but repeated his name many times. Said that he was a lawyer in California. Not very hard to find once you know his name. He's pretty easy to find.
He's extremely easy to find once you know his name. And one more time, Thaddeus, why do we know his name?
Because Malik told us.
It was Malik. Here we go. What's your position?
Well, how could you trust this person? Like, if you heard this person say anything, like as a friend, like, I mean, that's a terrifying idea to have this person as a friend. This person could reveal your information and anything. If
And
he does
he
this to his
will,
friends,
and
what
he
will he do
will.
to his enemies?
He keeps the info on everyone around him, so that the moment they cross him, he doxes them and shares everything they've ever done and stuff. That's what he did with the Warner, who was his buddy for years, and everyone the Warner was associated with. He was also friends with them, and blasted them all the moment one guy crossed him. Crazy
And
stuff.
by the way, we played a portion of that clip before, and I censored his name before. And now Malik has decided to go back after people. He encouraged Libiano and Muhammad Hijab to make a vile video defaming Mrs. God Logic. So, it's no longer being censored. I censored it. Malik did not, right? Malik put it out on his program and told his audience to go after him, and his audience probably did.
Mm-hmm.
And Speaking disappeared from TikTok after pretty much the day after this, right? He deleted his account or made it private, whatever. He deleted his Facebook. He seemed to he was like, I'm out of here. I'm out of here. And he did come back like a week or two later, but he came back as just speaking. He doesn't publicly identify as a Muslim. He doesn't do dawah anymore. So he clearly was facing a lot of intimidation coming from Malik's camp as a result of this. So I would say he is a victim of doxing. Now, he's also a perpetrator, as we'll see here, but he is also, it can be both, right? And he is definitely a victim of Malik's crimes.
Mm-hmm. And just so you know, speaking Muslim, he knows how deals work and so on. I'm sure the prosecutor will be happy to work out a deal with you in exchange for your testimony about Malik.
Mm-hmm.
Plead guilty, time served. But you got to testify. Something like that.
Like, what's your official position on everything speaking?
Yeah,
Go ahead, bro.
Not a problem, actually. All right, yeah, like, let me just start from the top. Like,
Who is this?
Okay, so this is from last night's live. This is when Speaking calls in, and this is Malik said, he said some stuff first. It was irrelevant, and he says, "Tell us what your position on all of what is going down is." So this is his first statement to Malik last night.
So this is Speaking Muslim.
Yes.
Okay.
reacting first to this, like, little thing on YouTube. I'm just seeing it for the first time. Yeah, I think that, like, this is just becoming like a big kind of back and forth, like tit for tat.
No. do you not know what this is, dude? Do you not know what this is? One of the best things to do is when someone is trying to do something to someone else, you make it happen to them so that they understand what it's like. So, speaking, you're giving information to dox people. And one of the purposes was giving their, like, business information where people work and stuff like that, to harass them, was to put, like, their careers in jeopardy and so on. Now what's happening to you? The exact same thing. So you were intending to do that with other people. Now it's happening to you. With God Logic, remember what was happening with God Logic? Malik was trying to get him arrested. He was bragging about now he's actually got a court date. Now he's going to have a record and so on. He was obsessed with getting a criminal record for God Logic and then bragging that he has no criminal record. Well, then what needs to happen to you so that you understand the error of your ways? You need a criminal record, right? That's what's going on. There's no back and forth. There's us letting you guys repeatedly hang yourselves with the stupid things you're doing until we decide, okay, now it's time. Now it's time. And so right now, as far as you, Ramsey, now it's time. Malik, yeah, we're gonna start sending info over, but we're not. I don't know. We might want to keep Malik around a little while longer. We'll see.
I don't know, like, maybe I'm involved because you were on my live earlier, and I've been warned against having you on my live.
Smart.
I've been pretty vocal about saying, look, I'm going to allow discourse to take place, and I'm going to be open. And, and I've been pretty neutral, like, arguing positions on both sides, asking tough questions. I mean, at this point, and what's crazy, actually, Malik, before you started your live, I was going to come up and I was going to admonish you. And I was going to be like, you know what? I don't think you have to run this play. I don't think this is necessary. Whatever, right? Like, I really didn't think it was. I watched the Muhammad Hijab, Libiano, YouTubes. I wasn't pretty happy with them personally. I didn't think it was cool. I've always thought, like, keep people's families out of it. Keep things like focused on the merits. And even with respect to like my own like processes, because I've been pretty honest with people. I have had like my back and forths, and I've gone through my like personal crisis of consciousness moments. But in any case, like, what I'm seeing now, this is just what's being called for, bro. Like, I always, I read both the Quran and I read the Bible, and it's exactly what both books like describe. Like, when you're trying to be focused on God, the whole world's going to attack you. So, I mean, whether you're trying to quote John 15 verse 18 through 21 or some verse from the Quran, the idea here is that they're always just going to attack you no matter what. So.
Ramsey, no, I mean, they might attack you or something like this if you say you're reading the Bible or something like this. No one here is attacking you for trying to do the right thing or trying to follow God. We're here because you were behind the scenes helping someone, giving him information, sound like maybe the kind of mastermind behind the scenes of helping him launch a campaign of doxing and harassing and threatening Christians in order to control them. That's why we're here right now. It's not, oh wow, Ramsey's really devoted to God, let's get him. So, dude, you don't be delusional. Don't be someone who goes out and like shoots someone and then police show up and it's like, oh, it's just because I'm such a devout Muslim. No, because you shot someone, right? That's what that would be for. So it's just because I'm such a devout follower of God. What planet do you live on, man? Come on. And again, we gave you guys Ramadan to come up with a better path forward.
Yeah,
so
I mean, we backed off, right? We backed off. They calmed down because of Ramadan. We backed off. It's not very complicated. They ramped it back up after Ramadan. We ramped it back up.
Yep. And not only that, he said he was going to be worse than ever. Malik, he said it's going to be worse than ever. He's going to go harder than ever. Okay, all right, then. Okay, you've made your intentions clear. Now there's no mystery. Yep. We wanted to see how you were going to react, if you're going to correct course or stay the same or get worse. You announced you're getting worse. Okay, well then, mystery solved.
I mean, whatever. At this point, all they can do
If
is.
you could pause it for a second.
What's up?
I did want to say that I asked people who pay attention to the TikTok scene, and Speaking was being honest. He has attempted to be neutral and not really try to defend an Islamic position, just let people talk on Christian side, Islamic side. I think that he probably really does want to discuss theology. The problem is he got himself involved in this situation, right? He made a mistake. He got involved with Malik. And when you make mistakes and you do things that are seriously putting people's lives in danger, there's going to be consequences, even if you feel bad about it afterwards, right? So I'm not saying he's happy about what he did. I'm not saying that he's not trying to be better, but there's going to be consequences for him, even if he's no longer involved with Malik. And of course, we don't know for sure whether he's still helping him or he's completely cut him off or whatever. Obviously, that's between them. But even if he has, right, there's going to have to be consequences for what's already been done.
And that's just life. I mean, he could leave Islam tomorrow and become the greatest Christian who's ever lived. You don't get to be a lawyer anymore, man. You just don't. I mean, it's not ultimately our decision, but I don't think you should be a lawyer anymore if this is how you use things. Anyway.
From the Quran, the idea here is that they're always just going to attack you no matter what. So I mean, whatever. At this point, all they can do is take the clips, put them on the internet, complain to whoever they want to complain about. But if I'm just like some fodder for them, it is what it is, bro. But I mean, like,
According to what we've heard, you were a very important part of everything that happened to a lot of people and caused a lot of problems for a lot of people. And so, yes, we do play the clips of you guys admitting to all this stuff that was illegal. And yes, we will send it to the appropriate authorities. And after that, that part's out of our hands.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't have a personal stake in your guys' beef. I've always been against desecrating the Quran. I've always condemned anybody who desecrates the Quran. And I think that, to be fair, like I said, I've never desecrated the Bible. I thought that there could be like some.
I've never desecrated the Bible. All I did was compile this big document full of information on how to stalk and harass Christians and threaten their families. That's all I did. I mean, what did I do? I don't see why I'm part of this.
My question is, why would you desecrate your own holy book anyway? That doesn't make any sense.
Good point. It's what you just said. It's like when they go, "Oh, why are you guys making fun of Muhammad? We don't make fun of Jesus." Well, yeah, you supposedly believe in Jesus as your prophet. You guys make fun of Paul all the time because you don't believe in him. So, yeah, don't be pulling that card on us, guys.
But you know what's interesting is that Paul was actually considered by the classical scholars to be an apostle. And it's just like they seem to want to throw the classical Islamic scholars away. Strange.
They have to, yeah, because the classical scholars they're going with passages like Surah 61 verse 14 and 355, where Allah is going to protect the true followers of Jesus, and they're going to become they're the ones who are going to become uppermost. And so they're like, okay, the Christianity that became uppermost, that's the one that obviously has Allah's stamp of approval. That included Paul's. Therefore, if you say Paul's this evil guy, then it would mean Allah dropped the ball, and we're not going to insult Allah like that. It's like a parallel to their view with the Quran. I mean, with the Bible, right? It's the earlier guys, it's no, insulting the Torah and the gospel would actually be insulting Allah. Well, guess what? Insulting Paul would be an insult against Allah, because Allah, the same Allah who's protecting the scriptures, is also making sure the true followers of Jesus become uppermost. And so if nope, it was all wrong. It's all wrong. It's all a big disaster. Okay, you're talking about Allah now, man. It's only later Muslims who didn't seem to care about that stuff.
It's utterly insane. And it's like they want to win a battle, but they lose the war. That's literally what happens. They're like, yes, I've won this battle. And I'm like, but you've lost the war.
Like terms of peace met at some point, but obviously they just want to go. And I think that, to be fair, like I said, I've never desecrated the Bible. I thought that there could be like some like terms of peace met at some point, but obviously they just want to go.
You thought terms of peace would be met with Malik? Between me and Malik? No. There's no scenario where it's just, let's be best buddies now. The only thing that works now is unconditional surrender, and that ain't going to happen from my side. So anyway, if you thought, I was thinking there could just be peace. Yeah, there will. When there's unconditional surrender, which may require him being locked up for a long time.
But that is true, though, right? That speaking talked to you in Houston.
That is true. He's correct about all that. He was trying to de-escalate the sides. He was trying to de-escalate everything. So he's correct as far as that is concerned.
Some like terms of peace met at some point, but obviously they just want to go as hard as you're going, and you're going to go as hard as they're going. So you guys are going to do your thing, man.
I have one thing that I wanted to say about this too that I just don't understand. What would it matter if you did something to the Quran? If the Quran is true, you can't actually damage it. You can't hurt it. So it's like these people believe that the Quran is just a book. They don't actually believe it's like the holy word of God. If this is the holy word of God, if the Bible is the holy word of God, if someone, attacks the Bible, you can't attack the word of God. It's just kind of an image, a memory of what the word of God is. The word of God is beyond the book. So it's like, I don't know, I think that would be a good theology, but if you think that the book being hurts the word of God. That's a very low theology. It's a very low way of looking at God and God's word. I don't know. It seems really utterly stupid to me. I can't comprehend it.
Here's Issa. Well, why would they think like this? I mean, it would seem to require a low theology. And that's all these guys. That's every last one of them.
Yeah, I mean, Malik explicitly said it multiple times, and we agreed 100%. He's like, the difference between them and us is they go after books, but we go after people. And he meant that like there's something wrong with us. But we're like, yeah, that is the difference, and it's something wrong with you.
And so another important factor there, Malik, is it's legal to go after books. It's illegal to go after people, at least in the way you're doing it. And therefore, not looking good for you. All right, California bar.
So this is a comment I pulled from one of Ramsey's social media. I believe it was his LinkedIn profile. He's commented on a news article about people who were just disbarred by the California bar. And he says, sad, an attorney is expected to be held to the highest ethical standards. Indeed, he is correct.
So he understands that attorneys should not be helping other people break the law, apparently. Seems like he understands that, right? You can't claim ignorance there. You're not supposed to be able to claim ignorance of the law, but it seems like that would especially apply to attorneys, especially when he's commenting on other people getting disbarred.
Yep.
Oh, and by the way, I just want to point out, California is interesting because I went over to the page where about people being disbarred. They disbar people left and right over there. And it's like, oh, and this guy did this, and this guy did this, and this guy didn't do this properly, and this, and they're like disbarring people left and right. So,
I have a question. Was this a person you were hanging out with, like at like a debate con or something? Did I get that right? Or so this is a person that you know has been connected, talking to Christians, and then behind closed doors is kind of like betraying Christians. Is that correct? Am I understanding
he had done
this?
that. He had done that stuff before I ever saw him. So before I ever saw him, he had given all this information to Malik so that Malik could harass and dox us and so on.
So do you think he did it afterwards too, or was this just all before?
I don't know.
Okay, because I was like, that's really kind of sick. Like, you hang out with these people and then behind closed doors, you're like, I'm going to betray them. I think that would be pretty rough.
All right, here we go.
And so these next two slides, I've copied the little flow chart of the process for filing a complaint about a lawyer.
You don't need to tell anyone to file a complaint. You can file a complaint and then give them the information. They'll have the information, man.
I was going to say, and step one has been done. I have filed a complaint against our friend Ramsey here. They have up to 60 days to evaluate it and decide what they want to do. And then there's a whole process they go through. There's due process, right? They investigate. They don't just take my word for it or take his word for it. They investigate it. And then there's kind of like even a pseudo trial if necessary before he's disbarred. So if I'm mistaken and, he's not actually behind this, I mean, my genuine judgment is that he did compile some amount of information. It's hard to say how much was from him, how much was from other people, how much Malik gathered himself. But I think that he was definitely involved. He definitely compiled some of it. There's some of the evidence I think he definitely compiled because it seems like a lawyer would have had to pull it.
Oh, I'm just saying, like, as far as like the extent of what he's done and how much of a role he played in the things that Malik did, a lot of it would come down to what's in that document. So he could actually solve a lot of this mystery by just giving the document, and if it exonerates him, then, well, here's the thing. If the information in the document, if he can show, look, guys, this is all I shared, man. It's a tiny fraction of what Malik used, and it's pretty inconsequential. Because the way it sounds is he like did the most of the work, that he gave a ton of information to him. So if that's not the case, then you probably should send it to us, and that would affect our position. if it's filled with all sorts of stuff and home addresses and phone numbers and stuff and all that stuff that that Malik used, yeah, you probably don't want to don't want to share that with us. But
I'm willing to reevaluate again. Obviously, I don't have perfect knowledge, but this is my judgment at this time that Ramsey was involved to an extent that would be an ethical violation of the California Bar Code, certainly, and potentially a crime as well. With Malik, I mean, there's no doubt he's committed dozens of crimes. With Ramsey, I don't know how much he's implicated legally, but I think he definitely violated the ethical standards that he is held to, and
that he affirms.
Yep, and that he affirms. And if I'm wrong, there's due process to figure that out. So I have gone ahead and filed a complaint against him with a compilation of evidence. You're going to see like the introduction I wrote to that complaint here in a little bit. There's like tons of evidence, most of which we've covered on the show previously. So it's not all recapped here today, but some of it is, right? Some of the evidence we'll be talking about, other things I just put in the complaint.
All right, so we have the process that Thaddeus is following. He did step 1, and then, matter of fact, let me see what all these steps were again. So step 1 is filing a complaint, which Thaddeus has done, then intake review, so that's up to 60 days, then investigation, then the filing of charges, then a trial. If unresolved, the case goes to the state bar court for trial. You may be called as a witness. Hey, you can call Thaddeus as a witness. He called me too.
Yep.
Happy to testify.
I said in my complaint that I didn't speak for anyone else, like the other victims. I didn't speak for IP or God Logic or whoever, but I spoke for David and myself. I said we are willing to testify either via video or in person, whatever you need.
Yeah, and I would just request that they try to line up our trips to California with our with the trials of Malik. That way we can knock out multiple trials at once. Wait a minute, did they just do this out of order? 4's over there on the other side. Okay, so 4 over there on the other side.
Yeah, because it's like a loop-de-loop.
Okay, I get it. So 4 was possible outcomes before charges. In some instances may determine that the misconduct occurred, but should be resolved with an alternative to disciplinary charges. All right, and then filing of charges, and then a trial, and then review of the closure decisions and stuff. All right, good to know. Good to know how they roll out there.
Wait, Amir, let me ask you this. Do you think that Speaking's bar card can be taken away for what he does?
Yeah.
Be honest.
Yeah.
I don't want to answer that on the live. I can't give an opinion on that.
Why is he talking about his being disbarred?
So
this is the old one, right? This is back.
This is the old. This is Malik in his immediate tantrum after, being doxxed by having his phone number on screen, which no one even noticed other than him, most likely. And he's asking his other friend here, do you think he can be disbarred? And what he's put up here on the screen is a conversation between himself and Speaking, in which Speaking said, I think between him and another party about Speaking, in which he says that Speaking was telling him about God Logic's pseudo court case, right? So Muslims tried to pretend that they'd filed criminal charges against him, and that he was facing charges, he was going to jail, whatever. They said all kinds of stuff. The only thing that actually happened is some clown filed for a civil protection order, an anti-stalking order. And anyone can do that against any individual. And so he had a court date as a result. Like, I could file a complaint against Malik right now. I could ask for a restraining order against Malik right now if I so chose. And he would be forced to appear in court for that. And of course, the idiot who did it didn't actually show up. But according to this, Speaking was advising them on how to do that, while they're pretending this is criminal charges, right? And he's saying, you can't be seen serving the papers yourself, because then it will be obvious that it's a civil matter and not a criminal matter. And so he's telling them how to pretend, basically, that God Logic is facing legal charges, when in fact it's just some idiot filing a protection order which anyone can request against any other person for any reason. It won't be granted, of course, if there's no cause, but anyone can request it at any time.
So this is a little while back then, and him still flipping out over Ramsey.
I'm just being honest, bro.
And for what it's worth, bro, think about it like this: have some like respect. Think about it, bro. Bro's got kids. Even if you're gonna go that far, that's crazy.
I don't give a wait. Hey, bro, check this out, bro. Hey, Amir, one thing you gotta know about me, bro, is I'm a real savage, bro.
I'm a real savage over here on TikTok. I'm Club Pyru. I'm a real savage. I guess you could say he is savage in the sense that, like, I mean, like his snitching, right? Like most people would have some filter. Should I just instantly be sharing all this stuff to like ruin people's lives just because someone annoyed me over something? Most people be like, maybe I need to like step back and think about this for a little while. Not Malik. So he's savage in the sense of like unthinking. Me talk about you getting banged in your butt. Wonder what you do to join the Illuminati. Stupid. Don't get guys like this for your friends, man. Worst friends in the universe. They will eventually try to destroy you.
So this other Muslim who's called in and says, "Come on, God, be reasonable. He just upset you. Calm down. He's got a family. You're going to destroy his life." And I mean, I guess Malika didn't actually follow through, so he's not sad. But he says, "I don't care," right? He says, "I don't care. But listen, it doesn't matter." And I mean, he's technically right. If you commit a crime, saying "I have a family" doesn't get you out of the consequences. Not that Speaking committed any crime against Malik, but he may have committed crimes against us.
Yeah, and so I mean, this just total epic loser, Malik. Hey, he shared a screenshot and didn't take my phone number off here. Okay, so we're gonna get him disbarred, but he's got a family. I don't care. I'm a savage. I never heard the word no when I was growing up because my parents never said no to anything, and now I'm a savage. Club Pyru, biggest dork I've ever come across in my entire life, and I've come across some serious, just total dorks. But this guy takes the cake, man.
I'm a real savage, bro. I don't give a crap. Bro, put my phone number up on the screen.
That's all it took.
About what wife? Oh.
So, okay, so this is continued from Malik's meltdown. This is what so after saying he doesn't care, then he's like, and by the way, he's not exactly a family guy anyway.
All right.
Bro, this guy's married, right? This guy's married. Look what this guy's doing in the girl's messages. What you doing? You have a hobby outside of TikTok? Right? His wife's on the app, Amir. You know she be scoping around.
Little side note, guys. Notice how instantly something comes up and he pulls out the files. What's that mean?
Mm-hmm.
It means he keeps information on people in case anyone ever crosses him, and he just has it already. This the type of guy you want to be. This is like Sam. That's like Shamoon. That's what Shamoon does. He keeps information on everyone around. So if anyone ever crosses him, he tries to expose them and so on. It's like you want to work with someone like that? You want to pal around with someone like that? It's creepy stuff.
School is like work. It's not good luck in school. Like, he's like bothering this girl with 3 things on her thing. Like, bro, you're telling me this is a good guy? Are you going to be a doctor? Well, best of luck. I hope that you're beautiful. Like, and you're
think about the progression here. Again, knowing the sort of person that you're dealing with right here. Like, one, how would you not already have known this about him by this point? You've seen him in the past. Mm-hmm. And this is the guy that you handed a huge file about Christian's personal information to, right? You handed this guy that file, knowing exactly what he would do with it. But think about this. It's, hey, he shared a screenshot and didn't realize my phone number was up at the top. And therefore, what are we going to do? We're going to get him disbarred. Come on, dude. The guy's got a wife. Oh, yeah, let me show you screenshots. Let me show you screenshots of this guy chatting up a girl on TikTok. Like, he had it. He had it already. This is how he is with everyone. Absolute scumbag.
Telling me, bro, this is somebody like you. I know you know his wife.
I don't move like this. This is different. This is definitely not.
You are very beautiful. I'm sure anything you do. I have to go do work. Have a great night. I'll follow you.
So here is the opening paragraph of
wait, did you write this?
Yes, I wrote this.
And so if I point out horrible grammar or point out that you're barely literate, then that would be directed towards you. This is not anyone else.
That is correct. Although Mary did proofread it, I wrote it.
Okay, so Mary as a proofreader is, notice guys, notice, do you want Thaddeus as your friend? I point out that he seems barely literate in this, and he instantly throws Mary under the bus. Actually, she was the one proofreading it, so gosh, bad.
And I will say this is slightly edited from the actual complaint because I included a couple other people's real names who are not well known. Their real names are not well known, so I took those out for purposes of sharing it here, but they are in the official complaint.
All right. So this concern the actions. Do you mean this concerns the actions?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Well, next time have me proofread your stuff. Since, according to you, Mary is the worst proofreader on the planet. Well, sad. This concerns the actions of Ramsey Abboushi in regards to his participation in a sustained social media campaign of doxing, intimidation, libel, and harassment against... Oh, little side note there. As far as Ramsey is concerned, right? So, yeah, he's been implicated in giving massive amounts of personal information that, notice, he had it ready. So he had been compiling that. What is this dude spending years of his life compiling information on Christians to use to dox and threaten and harass them? So why was he doing that all along? So anyway, point is, kind of tells you a little bit about the person. But right there, as far as the libel and so on, he was actually, because I just remembered this, but he was part of, not the actual discussion, but where they supposedly found a girl that I raped years ago, and he was at least involved in part of that because he's the one that said he had concluded that my real name is David Sagata. Right, that's where this came from. Ramsey is the guy who somehow in his lawyerings concluded that my real name is David Sagata, and then fed that nonsense to Malik here. But Malik was responding with, the girl's coming over, or we got the interview with the girl in 3 hours or something like that. And so it's like, okay, how much did he know? In other words, were they telling him, oh yeah, we found a victim of David Wood, and he believed that? Or does he know? Does he know this lying's going on? Because anyway, that would implicate him in that. In other words, he might not just be implicated in all the doxing stuff, but I have no doubt once everything hits the fan that Malik will snitch on absolutely everybody. Everybody. He will snitch on everybody. Libel and harassment against multiple individuals, including myself, Reason Answers, David Wood, Lucian Wood, Marie Wood, Avery Austin, God Logic, Christina Austin, Michael Jones, Inspiring Philosophy, Ridvan Idemir, Apostate Prophet, Chris Claus, Sarah, Apostate of Allah, and others. Abboushi is or was friends with an individual who goes by Malik, who is the public face of this campaign, while Abboushi was the primary source of the information revealed. So you're going through your whole complaint, or is that just you just wanted that up on the beginning?
So there is a second paragraph that I've included here, which is the other half of the introduction, and then I didn't include any of the specific evidence, but there's several pages of evidence.
You didn't put up a second paragraph? Oh, no, there you go.
Yeah,
okay, there you go. All right. On or about January the 8th. That's the worst part. That's the worst part.
Why?
You don't dox people on January the 8th because that's Elvis's birthday. On or about January 8th, 2026, an individual who variously goes by Malik, Dr. Malik, West Side Baby, biggest moron ever, stupid, giant doofus, epic loser, and Libyan lion. Look at the Libyan lion. You know what that is? That's him trying to be buddy up to Libiano. Mm-hmm. Hey, Libiano, what if I name my new channel Libyan Lion? Yay! Won't that make me cool now? Libyan Lion and other aliases, real name Malik Hamza, formerly Malik Gabertai, began a doxing and harassment campaign described below. On or about February 14th, 2026, Ramsey Abboushi, who went by the name The Speaking Muslim Online, admitted that he was the primary force behind Malik's doxing campaign, acknowledging he had compiled a 100-plus page document of private information about many of the personalities that oppose Islam online, as well as Muslims who might need persuaded. All right. We ready to go on with the video?
Yeah, so we're going to see some of the evidence that I presented without reading the words I wrote about it. So some things we've discussed many times before, like David being labeled as David Sagara, for example, right? That makes the evidence, because we know for sure that came from Ramsey. So wherever I had reason to believe that Ramsey was involved with any of this saga is in the evidence that's been compiled. But we have evidence or proof, or at least what I'm evaluating as proof, that he is involved in the coming clips.
Oh, well, I guess we do need to kind of move quickly, sort of make it a priority to get everything to police and the prosecutors in California as far as Malik is concerned, because a big part of what's going on here is going to be Malik snitching on everybody, and that will help clarify things. And because at the end of the day, you want accurate information, and if Malik any information Malik has, he's going to snitch that. So anything else we'll know Ramsey may be innocent on. And we will testify to that effect. If this snitch, the biggest snitch in the world, did not snitch on him for this particular thing, we don't think he did it.
Can I ask one quick question?
That is a quick question.
Another question.
Okay.
But the question I was curious about, I remember a little bit about when this began, and he was doxing Muslims at first, right? And then you commented on it. Why did he decide to just dox all the Christians? What made him feel like this is an okay thing for him to do? Like, what was his so-called argument for doing it?
No, his MO, and I wasn't following anything he did from back in the day, but apparently his MO has been, you ever cross him, he'll just instantly start doxing you, and he keeps all the information on you and stuff like that, and then uses it. But no, the first time we were paying attention to him was towards the end of last year, and had nothing to do with us, but he snitched. He wasn't doxing, he was snitching on a bunch of Dawa guys for all the stuff they're doing behind the scenes. That's where all the stuff, running trains and having three-ways and spending Dawa donations on drugs and stuff like this. That's when all this stuff came out. He's the one who ran his mouth about it. All we did was play the video, and we were praising him for finally. And you could. What was weird about it was he wasn't exposing them because it was wrong. He was exposing them because one of them lied about him, and then he shared all this information and stuff. But yeah, then he went on this big tirade and so on, and started flipping out and doxing everybody, and so anyway, working out pretty well for him. Only been a couple months now, but going pretty well. So here we go.
Look, all the info I provided was literally public info at this guy's request. Public info, nothing private, all publicly available information.
Does this guy know the law? Just because you can find it by digging around on the internet, what's the main criterion, Thaddeus? As far as doxing?
Whether it's being used to threaten or harass people.
That's the intent. It doesn't matter if, all I did was get a friend, become a friend of a person on Facebook, and then I took the picture and stuff like that. Yeah, you can get stuff like that. It's what's your intent for posting it? What's the intent there? Or if you're the one compiling, it's all public. Why are you compiling over 100 pages of information about a bunch and then giving it to the biggest doxer on the planet? Good luck spinning that one to the bar.
Oh, by the way, that definition of doxing that we looked at earlier said electronic communication includes things such as email and instant messaging. So the fact that he only sent it to one person, as long as he reasonably could expect it to be used to harass or intimidate people
Yeah.
would actually still meet the
Yeah.
legal
And
definition.
and what possible other reason would you be giving it for? Hey, here's just a bunch of random information I compiled on the lives of all these Christians here. Here it is for no reason whatsoever. Yeah, good luck.
You know,
spinning out.
Malik's just such an upstanding guy. He wants to send everyone birthday cards or something, right?
Yeah. Here's all this information, so you have all their home addresses and phone numbers and stuff, so you can send them birthday greetings. That's why I did it. Yeah, good luck with that.
And then he sits there and takes all the credit for supposedly going after David Wood. So Malik, was I doing little shit?
Oh, wait, this is him. This is him self-snitching. Gosh.
Yep.
Guys, this is him announcing on TikTok live that he was the one feeding this information to Malik. Apart from that, we had no clue, guys. We had zero clue. And then he admits it all in a live stream on TikTok. These guys are tactical geniuses, man.
To prove that he's not a shirker, right?
Yeah.
that he's a real Muslim and not a shirker. He goes up there. He's like, Malik's trying to take all the credit, but I did most of the work.
Ramsey, unless you were stoned out of your mind when you just said that, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Oh, gosh. Here we go.
Look, all the info I provided was literally public info at this guy's request. Public info, nothing private, all publicly available information. And then he sits there and takes all the credit for supposedly going after David Wood. So Malik, was I doing little shit for you? Because you told everybody, oh, I just had them doing little things for me. So what is it, Malik? Are you lying? Am I doing all the heavy lifting, or am I doing none of the heavy lifting? Because you just sound like a freaking liar right now.
Just to say this, yeah. If
Which one is it, Malik?
Wait.
Hey, Muslim who's interjecting, the only thing you should be interjecting with right now, if you have two functioning brain cells that are not the product of 40 generations of first cousin marriage, the only thing you should be saying right now is, dude, you are incriminating yourself and you are a lawyer. Shut your freaking mouth and get off here right now. Have this conversation in private. Shut your mouth. Are you stupid? That's the advice you should be giving. Let me back up just a few seconds here.
You just sound like a freaking liar right now.
Just to say this, yeah. If
Which one is it, Malik?
Wait.
Tag David Wood and A-Plus and IP and all these guys? Am I the actual genius behind the scene, or are you the guy running the show, Malik? I'm not really sure anymore. Because now you're claiming I got all the files on everybody.
So there is some ambiguity there.
Yeah, there is.
Now, there's no ambiguity is that he was involved and he compiled information. There's some ambiguity as to, how much he was planning and not planning.
Because he's saying it to him. He's saying, so wait a minute, am I the mastermind who was doing all the heavy lifting, or was I just doing little things? It sounds like it sounds like the point of him bringing this up is him saying, why you keep telling people I was just doing little things? Why are you telling them that? But you're right, as far as the language is concerned. He goes, no, I was just, I was just mad that.
Well, and the context, Malik has said that he was responsible for the doxing on this Muslim program. And so he's like, now you're trying to give me all the credit before you wouldn't give me any credit. What's the real deal here? So, there is actually some legitimate ambiguity over his level of involvement, but not over his involvement.
Here we go. What info?
Speaking Muslim doxed Akiex's whole profile. You see that 2 pages. His social security, everything.
And just to clarify, these clips of Malik actually took place before that, and that's what. So what he was just saying was in response to Malik saying that he's going to show this slide where he doxed Akiex, a Muslim, and then he's going to show another one.
He's saying Ramsey doxed him.
Yeah. So according to Malik, Ramsey doxed Akiex.
Wait, Ramsey?
Or at least sent Malik.
Ramsey, the lawyer, was doxing people?
Well, he sent Malik the information.
Okay.
So he sent him this information. This is Malik's story. So the way it went in the live stream is Malik comes up. He says, this is a bad guy. Don't listen to him. He doxes Muslims. Or he gave me information on Muslims in order to dox them. And he gave me this 100-page document on the Christians. And then Ramsey comes up and says what we just heard, where he said, why are you saying it was all me now? You were saying I wasn't doing anything. So which is it? Was I doing everything or was I doing nothing? And so there is ambiguity there, but he shows 2 slides proving that Ramsey did send him information. Again, we haven't seen the document. We don't know what's in the document. Theoretically, it could be, here's a list of David Wood's YouTube videos. Now, is that probable? I don't think so, but theoretically, it could be something else. All right. Malik is our source for saying that this is the information that doxes. And then Ramsey gets up and says everything was public info, which he doesn't say. I just sent him some YouTube links. All right. He says everything is public info, which is not a defense. Yeah, you can find David's address on the internet. You can find my address on the internet. You can find all kinds of things on the internet. Hey, I can find Ramsey's home address on the internet, and I can find Malik's home address on the internet. But if I were to just go blabbing them, I would be doxing them, especially if I'm telling my audience, guys, here's his number. You can call him and tell him what you think about him. Wink, wink. Hey, here's his address in case you want to show him up and tell him what you think about him. Yeah, we're going to be knocking on his door real soon. Yeah, I mean, that is clearly with the intent to intimidate.
Hey, it's funny. In our little private group, Mary posted a screenshot of her telling you that concerns that you have concern and you need an S because it's a typo.
So I know.
I take back everything I said. Thaddeus threw Mary under the bus and said that all the mistakes were because of her 100%. And then she brought the receipts. Is actually she sent the corrections and he did not pay attention to, apparently, because she got multiple things on there that you did not fix.
Okay. So here's what happened.
All right, guys, I'm gonna do a poll. Who's worse, Malik or Thaddeus as a friend? Anyway,
so I had forgotten that I made the corrections on the actual page. I submitted it. And then when I copied it from the draft. So when I said Mary had proofread it, I actually thought she had, but it wasn't the version she had proofread. It was the original unproofread version.
Now
so it was actually submit with an S. It was submit with an S.
The truth. Okay. So the lesson here is
my story.
be very careful about what you believe when Thaddeus says anything. All right, good to know. Just so you know, Thaddeus, when you testify in court, this will be used against you.
Yep.
All right, here we go. What info?
Speaking Muslim doxed Akhie's whole profile. You see that 2 pages. His social security, everything of Akhie's on there.
Social security and everything. That's not just I found here's a YouTube video. Social security.
And he did it to every Muslim on this app.
If we want to pause real quick. I zoomed in here. It's still very blurry, but the third line, and he doesn't show, his screenshot doesn't show everything, but the third line definitely says variations, SSN summary, and date of births. So this does appear to be a public.
Look at this. He's sending like big files of stuff, and it's all organized with all their info in it.
Yep, and
this is what this is the sort of thing he sent them about all of us. That's creepy.
Apparently, Malik was reading his own screenshot and thought it was 2 pages. It actually is 12. If you look really closely, you can see a 1 there, and you can actually see the numbers go up to 4 on the page that's on the preview there. So it apparently was actually 12 pages of information. Now, I obviously don't know for 100% certain this is about AkiX, but it does appear to be the kind of thing that you could get from one of those websites where you have to pay them, $10, $20 or whatever to get all the information on a person and about someone. That appears to be what this document is based on the screenshot. And I really don't think that Malik is competent enough to fake a screenshot. So I think that Speaking actually sent him this document about someone, private information. This is December 23rd. So this is definitely before any of the stuff of Malik going after us. It's consistent with it being about a Muslim that they were having a dispute with.
the file of every Muslim on this app, and this is him sending it to my WhatsApp. This guy speaking, not only he doxes all the Christians, he doxes all the Muslims. Okay,
He doxes all the Christians. He doxes all the Muslims.
on top of it, he doxed all the Christians. This is 109 pages of Christians and AP that he's sending me their stuff. But then they're going to the Christians saying we condemn Malik for doxing. But you're the one sending all the information. You and Jake.
You hear that? You and Jake. He just said you and Jake, and he said you're the one sending all the information. You guys. So in other words, Malik is not apparently doing his own detective work. He's got Speaking Muslim and Jake. Look, he changed his name for him to Speaking Christian. He was mad at him. That's why he's throwing him. That's why he's throwing him to the wolves. He changed his name to Speaking Christian for him.
Send me all the information.
Now,
What?
that little censor bar there at the top, that was original to Malik's screenshot. So that is slightly suspicious that he censored that part out because he didn't want people to see what it was. But you can clearly see the photos of AP there, right? You can clearly see that those are being sent over to him. And you can see that some sort of document of 109 pages was sent to him. People watching this might not be able to tell at the small size, but I promise you that is what the screenshot says that Malik shared there. And again, I don't think he's competent enough to fake screenshots. I believe that Malik and Speaking have both said that Jake was responsible for the photos of AP. I don't know Jake's involvement other than that. Maybe he was pulling everyone's photos. Maybe he just pulled AP's because he had a personal problem with AP. Who knows? So Jake's involvement is pretty unclear. Everyone says that he at least sent those two pictures originally, but Speaking is the one sending them to Malik.
What is up with this religion and like they're all getting the same idea that we all need to, hey, let's go and find and start compiling files on pictures of all these guys and their family members and their houses and blah, 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 blah. Creepy stuff, man. Creepy dudes.
I want to say something about this.
Hey,
if these people,
hey, you follow this same religion, man, so don't be talking to us and we're not giving you any information. Don't be fishing for information here.
You wild. I want to tell you something funny, though. If these people studied Islam, the Quran, and the Bible as much as they did doing all this kind of trickery, they might actually be able to win in a debate.
They
but they don't. They don't study at all. No. All they're doing is attacking because they don't actually want to take the time to actually study this work. If they actually did the work, they might actually be a better debater. But, well, this is what you get when you're when you're lazy. You're a lazy loser,
Hey, Jake, why'd you do so terrible in that debate? Well, I spent all my time looking up people's pictures and putting them into a file.
You and Jake, send me all the information.
Wait. He's talking about himself. I skimmed this earlier. He's talking about himself, right? He's asking Ramsey if he wants his help, right?
Yes.
We really want your help. We really want everyone wants Malik's help. You got a problem? Malik is the problem solver, buddy. He's the problem. Club Pyru will solve your problems, man. They're the A-team.
Yeah, so that was a recap of past evidence there. They might not have been identical clips. I went back to the original source and didn't necessarily clip the exact same things we did before, but we had covered that idea before there about how we came to know about Ramsey's involvement. And now we're back to their conversation from last night.
All right, so guys, this will be the conversation from last night where Ramsey found out that we're having a live stream about, what's his face? Malik found out first and then got Ramsey on there. And then he's going to ask Ramsey, do you want our help? We can help you. We can help you. We're experts at de-escalating things. You want us to solve this for you? Anyway, we'll get back to that in a second. Let's take these super chats and then we'll jump right back into this for the big finale here. Issa actually gives me hope that Islam could potentially reform and finally put an end to the 1,400 years of aggression and atrocity. Really? Yeah, because he's just like every other Muslim on the planet. So you can see everyone wants to be just like Issa here. And so that should give us all hope that Islam's going to be super nice in the near future. How many scams would Malik have to run to make up for the fines? He couldn't even afford to ride a moped like El Zut. That's true. Top baby names: Whack Ass, Mansoor, Anus, Awesome. You forgot Aswad, man. We were talking about Aswad earlier. That's straight out of the Muslim sources, man. Aswad. What are you laughing at? Were you not watching Issa when that guy named Whack Ass? His name's literally Whack Ass Ahmed. He shows up in the chat and starts wanting to argue with us. It's like I can't even focus on the discussion because the guy's name is Whack Ass. It was so weird. Whack Ass Ahmed. Anyway. Actually, it would depend on the state whether the time stacks or not for each offense, which I believe California does. I have probation officer training in California. Okay, so yeah, he's saying that depends on whether they would basically add it all up into one charge or if they count as separate. They count as separate crimes and so on. So he thinks they stack up. To be fair, California's judicial system is super corrupt. He might get away with it in the name of social justice. Equity. Well, if he does, then we get to expose that too. Which of the following is morally wrong? A, hitting your wife. B, marrying a child. C, doxing. D, eating bacon. We all know the answer to that one. If they pick him up, maybe he'll spend a night of Al-Zut in jail before he posts bond. I take that back. Malik would probably like jail zooting it up. We don't know. We don't know what that dude's into. Although, look at the Dawa guys that he was pals with and what they were into. My two favorite apologists, D. Wood and D. Wood's Bookshelf. Who are your two guests? It's Thaddeus and Issa. Who did it, chat? Maloink did it. Salam al-Masih, God bless. That's Chris Claus, who's also on the receiving end, not in the Zut sense, but also on the receiving end of Malik's doxing. If you type his name into Google, one of the first things that pops up is a Reddit post talking about how terrible of a lawyer he is. Oh, yeah, I recall seeing that from this. We're about to see that. This guy gives me Dr. Weir vibes from Event Horizon, just pure evil. I think I saw a clip of that. Mohamed to the goat, shake your rump, beastie beat. I'm the guy who asked about your Mount Rushmore of Dawah. You asked what I meant. I meant the worst or most entertaining. Oh, if it's the worst or most entertaining. If you mean like the worst for Islam, I mean, they're all recent. They're all recent because they've been getting worse. So it's all like recent guys, but definitely Muhammad Hijab. I'd go right now. I'd go Muhammad Hijab, Ali Dawah, Sheikh Uthman, and Daniel Hakikachu. That would be my current Mount Rushmore of. But it's all. Keep in mind, it's always possible that someone's going to come along later and do an even more terrible job and destroy even more of Islam. And here we have the super sticker thing, which they show now. Hey, Ida.
Ah, nice.
Ida can no longer trick me because now we see the super stickers. Is D. Wood channeling Chuck Norris or is it the other way around? Too soon? No, everyone. Chuck would approve. Issa,
he was awesome.
Oh, yeah, it was. Issa, no obfuscating. Does Christianity have a great case for the divinity of Christ? If so, why do you reject him and say you despise him so much? Please, a direct answer in love. You got to be quick, though.
Oh, boy. Do I have the stage for that? No, but let's talk about that at a later time. There's a lot more super chats, so.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, guys, we are trying to cover this, and we still have more to cover, and we still want to get to look at the definitions of terrorism and stuff like that. So big questions like this, we'll wait till we're having a discussion on something theological and so on. Let's see. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Desecrating paper, leather, and ink cannot destroy the Word. Issa would agree on that. Happy Good Friday, everyone. Thank you. Issa doesn't realize these guys are in real life Romulans.
It looks like it. It looks like it. They're definitely not Vulcans.
Due process first used by Great Brits. Yeah, good luck with it there now. Attorneys have insurance. Insurance companies gauge risk by the number of bar grievances filed. Are all bar grievances hurt attorneys? Ooh, that is interesting. Was not thinking about that. In other words, he has to pay insurance, and they're going to charge him for insurance based on how likely it is that they think they're going to have to pay something, and they're going to determine that based on things like bar grievances. Yo, Malik, remember not to drop the soap, bro. I told him not to go to jail. I was dead serious about that. He is not going to do well in jail, not just because he's like a little pathetic pipsqueak. His inclination at the second anyone annoys him is to start snitching. That is like worst of you are, guys. A snitch in prison he is lower than a pedophile. You are lower than a pedophile in prison if you're a snitch, and he is the biggest snitch I've ever seen in my life. And he doesn't. He seems to lack the ability to control it. Right? He's just, oh, you annoy me. Well, let me tell you what you did. He is done. And so, dude, when you just straight to protective custody. Say straight to protective custody. Explain to them, I'm the biggest snitch on the planet. Just walk in there, get snitch tattooed across your forehead so they know you're serious, and they send you right to protective custody. Accountability is so sweet. Yeah, we tried to be merciful. They did not take it well, unlike Muhammad, who took it really well. Issa, Kabeer made with the finest mutawat. What the heck? Oh, they're calling Issa Kabeer. They're saying you could have a beer called Issa Kabeer.
It's so silly. I wanted to tell you a funny joke. In South Asia, they have this name Butt. It's really Bot, like Bhatt. But I said, I'm luckier. My name is like a beverage. It's like Kabeer. Like, it's a beverage that people could drink that some people like, some people don't. But, like, that's funny. Like, it's something that can be positive. But people who are named Butt, they get the butt of the joke.
Mm-hmm. That and Wackass.
What was weird is as soon as he said, I have a joke, I was like, this is going to be the corniest thing I've ever heard in my life. He's like, that people named Butt, they get the butt of the joke. Oh, man. Oh, boy. Malik reminds me of this. Psalm 7:15-16. He digs a pit, scrapes it out, and then falls into the hole he has made. His mischief will turn on his own head. His violence will boomerang on his crown. Yep. That is him. Speaking of indictments, another is needed for reasoned answers and Issa's hairstyle. What evidence do we have? A mirror. That is powerful.
Yeah.
Tannerite plus Quran equals smiley face. Well, we'll be finding out next weekend, guys. Who needs enemies like Thaddeus when you have friends like Malik? That is a good point. Wiki Maliki, who's rumored to be Mossad, also has informants. Coincidence? I'm just asking questions. I don't think there's a coincidence. And guys, I'll just say, if he escapes prison after committing all these felonies, we know for a fact this guy's a Mossad agent, and they're getting him off the hook. Speaking Muslim, so we'll have the Malik dilemma. Either he goes to jail for a long time, or he's a Mossad agent. There is no third option. Speaking Muslim, claiming he's neutral is laughable. He came to Avery's debate in church and was trying to talk tough and yelling Allah Akbar. Oh yeah, even when, hey, this is Christina. Yeah, he was in my debate. He's sitting there. He was back there making faces and stuff. So like trying to distract. One of the guys who makes faces and tries to distract and stuff like that. Yeah.
I do think that was before. I'm trying to remember the exact time frame, but I do think that was before the fallout between him and Malik and him trying to be neutral. Yeah. He was still trying to be a dog.
Oh yeah, and to be fair, that was before we were hanging out for hours and we all became like best buddies. Me, him, and Jake. Ali Dawa's mom, stop calling your dad a rat. Ali Dawa's dad agrees in rat. Oh, because he squeaks. That's pretty mean. I dropped this joke in God Logic stream earlier, but I don't think anyone saw it. So here it goes again. The Al-Zut weren't gay. They just hit it for the love of the sport. Love y'all handsome saying. That's pretty good. It was way better than Issa's joke. They doxed us and our church after our Ramadan video. Doxing is a tenet of faith for Islamists. Yeah, they do love doxing. And guys, it's all about control. We need to start this saying, guys. We need to start this saying. There's a saying here. Because what it is, they're obsessed with controlling people. They're maniacally obsessed with controlling your behavior. And they'll try 50,000. Their ultimate goal is to get Sharia and pose it on you, and then they can tell you what to do, and there's nothing you can say back. Other places, they'll try, Islamophobia, we're victims. They'll try doxing. They'll try threats. They'll try everything, all to gain control over you because that's what they're supposed to have according to Islam. They're supposed to be running the world and so on. And anyway, but it's like, so they try to control you. When they lose control, they lose control. You know what I mean? Isn't that weird? Like, there's two senses of losing control. When they lose control, they just lose control. Lose control in the sense of, oh, we can't control these people like we're supposed to. Then they lose control of like their minds, their emotions, everything. They start doing the most deranged, stupid things. So anyway, that's it in a nutshell. As far as I was thinking, like, what is like the core of this issue? Oh, when they lose control, they just lose control. Sick stuff. One more here, and then we'll go back to the video. In order to stop the Islamification of the prisons, deliver the book titled Conversation with Superintelligence by Jim Duane Burns Jr. into the prisons. I pointed out years ago, this would not be the same thing in the UK, where you have way too many Muslims there. In U.S. prisons, if it simply became common knowledge that Muhammad had sex with a 9-year-old girl, prison dawah is done. Prison convert, they're done. They're done. I'm not joking. I'm not exaggerating. Those are like fundamental rules. Don't snitch. Don't mess with kids. Those are the fundamental rules there. And if they found out, like, oh, the prophet that these guys are telling us to follow actually did that, it's done. Done in prison. But you can't just make it common knowledge, because that would be Islamophobic. It's actually a situation where people need to do the work, right? Like, start sending the information to people in prisons with the sources. The inmates will do the rest. The inmates will do the rest. You don't even have to do anything after that. Just get the information into their hands. They do not know. I know. I've been there. They do not know this stuff. All right, let's jump back into this video. Do you want to
Speaking? Let me ask you this, just point blank. Period. Do you want Club Pyro to get involved, or you want to deal with this on your own?
Bro, I'm not asking you to get involved. To be fair with you, like,
Smart.
I don't.
No, but I'm just saying, like, listen, bro. I can clean this up for you really quick.
How? I'll talk to everybody, and that'll make them back down. I'll post pictures. I'll post pictures of people. That'll make them back down. You giant moron. If you could do anything to stop us, you'd have done it already. All you ever do is get more people involved in wrecking you, dude. You're going to help somebody. He's just like, he's so stupid. He wants to be a hero so desperately, and all he comes across is a pathetic loser.
You want me to clean? You want me to take care of this for you? I'll do it. I'm in front of 130 people. I'm telling you, no matter even what you did, and I'm still
130 people. I got 130 people. Do it. Hey, do it. Hey, he doesn't want you because he's smart. He's way smarter than you, and he didn't want anything to do with you, dude. Helping him. He knows that would just be a disaster and would only make things 1,000 times worse for him. But I'm telling you, go ahead and do it. Go ahead and do it. Show us how it's done. Do it out of the kindness of your heart to help that guy out. Come on, you could do it. Try it. Take your best shot.
Say you for what you did. I can clean this up for you. If you don't, we'll stay out of it and we'll just keep doing our own thing.
I'm bro. Like, here's the thing. I don't know what cleaning it up means. That's all
No. There's no mercy to them. I'm just like, I know you're still Muslim, right? So I'm as a Muslim brother, I can, like, I can out of the kindness of, you're a Muslim and they're Christians. I can handle this for you.
If it has anything to do with retaliation or vengeance, no.
Okay, well then, bro, at that point,
he said, okay, then what could he possibly do? I know. I'll dox 10 times as many people. That'll stop them. It worked so well in the past. What a giant walking clown.
But notice speaking says, if it matters taking vengeance against them, then I don't want to do it. And he's like, well, in that case, I can't help you.
Yeah, what else am I going to do? That means that's all he was thinking. I know. I'll tell them I'm going to dox them. Oh, that'll stop them. God.
Bro, you have to deal with it on your own,
Yep. Way better dealing with it on his own than letting you ruin everything. I mean, just imagine if he'd never met you, dude. His life would be so much better. His life, and even if you hadn't flipped out over the phone number thing, we'd have no clue. We'd have no clue his involvement. None. I mean, he's the source of his problems in the sense that he was already doing this stuff and he's preparing information to doxing people and stuff like that. But as far as us knowing that, you are the source of that problem. You. So him, I mean, he was the one doing the messed up stuff. But as far as people knowing and now the bar finding out about it, that is you, dude. And what, you're going to save him? You're going to save him for what? Are you going to go to the bar? You're going to go to the bar and what? I'll dox the whole bar. Hey, California Bar Association, you better do what I want and leave Ramsey alone, or I'll dox all your families. Stupid.
So
idiot, man.
He did say he couldn't do anything if it wasn't about vengeance, although he did actually imply earlier a possible solution that he would just claim he was lying and that Ramsey was not involved.
Which, by the way, is what he did after he exposed all the Dawa clowns, and then they I don't know if they bribed him or submitted to him or something like that, and then he's like, I was just lying about all that, so yeah, good luck with that. No, but I mean, he was. Ramsey said, hey, if this is about a retaliation, I don't want it. Like, okay, there's nothing we can do. So we know that was what he was tending.
So this is going to be an older clip here, but it seemed most appropriate at this time.
All right, let me back up here. Not a Muslim to me.
Like, bro, I don't treat you guys as, not specifically you, but I don't treat any of those guys as Muslim. Speaking's not Muslim to me. Speaking's a kafir, and like, he's a kafir, like a straight kafir, like he's a liar and a kafir. Like I trust under defeat more than Speaking Muslim. Speaking Muslim's an op, bro. All he does is hate. Like, Speaking Muslim is an undercover, bro, and so is Jake.
These are the guys. This is the guy who flips out because someone calls him a Mossad agent. And he just said they're undercovers.
Mm-hmm.
What, do you guys like? What is the ummah, man? You guys are like the most backstabbing people on the planet. Like, zero loyalty to anyone.
Yeah, for real. So this is a month ago, right?
You'll lie about each other. You'll snitch on each other. You'll throw each other under the bus. You'll call each other a kafir in a heartbeat. What is this, man? I wouldn't want anything to do. If I knew nothing about Muhammad or anything else in your religion, I wouldn't want to go. I wouldn't want to be a part of that. Like, you guys are, it's pathetic. What are you saying, Thaddeus?
So a month ago, they're fighting. Ramsey's a kafir. Now,
I know you're a
doesn't
Muslim.
Doesn't want him to talk to us. Oh, I know you're a Muslim. I can help you. I can help you.
Solve all your problems.
Just don't go to talk to David.
I can make all your problems go away. Because I'll start doxing people. What an idiot. Bad lawyer.
Like,
here.
you know, lawyers already are just bad people. Like, he's a crooked lawyer. He's a crooked lawyer. His bar card's going to get stripped, bro. I'm telling you. Like, his bar card's going to get stripped.
And that's one of the few things there I agree with Malik on. And what's weird is his bar card, he's getting disbarred because... one, because of his actions, but two, because of Malik snitching.
All that, but that's
he got his family working for his law, bro. It's all, bro, a scheme, bro. Have you read his Reddit reviews, bro? Do you know how many people file paperwork against Speaking Muslim as a bad lawyer? Like, how he takes money from people and doesn't do the job, how he disappears on the phone line.
I don't know.
It's all over Google, bro. It's all over Google.
And that is true. And we did not air this before, but hey, now I just pulled one example. If people want to find more, just Google his name. You can see all kinds of reviews. Now, to be clear, I'm sure that this would probably be true of a lot of lawyers, right? You lose a case, people will be mad about it.
It is pretty common to get ticked off and stuff like that. And to be fair, I don't care if he's a crap lawyer or not. I care that he is breaking the laws and stuff like that. But closing briefs filed in TPOS versus Andrea K. So Andrea posted the closing briefs that her lawyer and Zane's lawyer submitted. The format makes them difficult to read, but holy crap, Ramsey's brief reads like a bad freshman college paper. We have Ramsey. Abboushi appears to be a really awful lawyer. His writing is trash. What a miserable job he's done on this case. It really speaks to the reputation of Zane Silmi that he'd hire such a pathetic lawyer. Both seem to be dunces. Everyone involved with this Zane douchebag appears to be a crappy excuse for a clown who is completely out of touch with reality and the concept of accountability. That sounds like Malik. How did this Abboushi fella even become a lawyer in the first place? Pretty sure a high school freshman could write a better closing brief than that. Well, high school freshman.
Yeah.
Went from college freshman to high school freshman.
So he was involved with a fairly prominent case locally involving, I believe, an elected official or something. So these are people who are interested in the case because of who's involved. This is probably the only like truly notable case that he's been involved with. And as a result, there's lots of people making fun of that particular side of the equation in the law firm. Again, that you can probably find similar things about other lawyers, but I just wanted to point out that Malik wasn't lying, right? You can find plenty of negative reviews about this guy.
Yeah, this was all in defense of Malik, apparently.
Well,
Thaddeus
it's
wanted to show that that Malik isn't always lying.
Well, yeah. I mean, he just because he's a liar doesn't mean he lies every single time he opens his mouth, because then you could know what the truth was. That's the problem with a liar. They don't always lie, or you just go with exactly the opposite of whatever they say. But I mean, I do think it is of some relevance because we're discussing his legal career. We didn't talk about it before because I didn't find it of any relevance, but now it is.
Who is Zane Silmy? I looked it up. A shady dude who has spent the past few years scamming various city agencies and all of us taxpayers and was getting away with it until a random housewife with an Instagram account started connecting dots. He tried to sue her, couldn't. So he tried to get a restraining order, and the court saga has lasted 9 months, aired on YouTube, and we're all still waiting for the judge to grant it or not. Now Zane can't do anything because thousands of people are watching him like a hawk. Here you go. And then they link to other information. So that's apparently Zane Silmy, apparently a dirtbag, but de-escalate. Good luck.
I do think, like, as a person who negotiates, like, say, just some hostile litigation.
Give an example. He can't give an example of how he's had successful negotiations as a lawyer. It's like, as a person who negotiates, stuff like sometimes. I think I could negotiate a peace deal.
Let me go ahead and say this, guys. If you guys want to make fun of Ramsey for his lawyerings and so on, I can guarantee you this. I guarantee you this. Ramsey is a massively better lawyer than Malik ever was a rapper or anything else in his life, except for snitching. Snitching, he's the GOAT. Okay.
Right.
Well, remember what we said about Malik? Malik is a discount version of B-Rod from Malibu's Most Wanted.
That's funny.
He's a discount version of him.
I'm the shiznit. Yeah.
Just some hostile litigation, to say the least, right? You gotta kind of like talk people down. Like, I feel like the direction this takes is just an escalation. Like,
yo, speaking. Let me tell you something.
Oh, it's an escalation. It's an escalation. Now we're de-escalating by exposing all you dudes in a completely different way, right? We had our fun little back and forth and so on. But yeah, now too many crimes have been committed, and Malik's promising way too many more. So now you guys get to reap what you sow. But yeah, he tried to de-escalate with me. Spent hours trying to convince me, David, just stop with the Quran desecration. Yeah, how'd that work out, buddy? Find out next weekend in episode 2 of Quran Demolition Ranch.
I mean, it might have been because of Ramadan or whatever, but Malik backed down, right? Malik backed down between mid-February and now.
Yeah, I guess Ramadan.
Did you see us doing Quran Demolition Ranch?
Nope.
Did you see us releasing footage? Did you see us mocking Muhammad in the most ridiculous ways every single day? No, we de-escalated. We didn't back down, obviously, but we de-escalated because it wasn't necessary, right? We don't just rip up the Quran for fun, although it is fun sometimes to rip up a Quran. We do it for a purpose, and Malik stopped doing stuff. We stopped doing stuff. Malik comes back, and I was like, it's all their fault. They weren't going to stop no matter what. except we didn't do anything for a month.
Yeah.
I literally compiled 101 ways to respect the Quran, and we didn't publish it because they weren't doing anything. You told me specifically, I can't release this unless they start doing stuff again.
Yeah, and it wasn't, again, guys, this was, Malik did so much messed up stuff that there was going to be massive retaliation regardless. But again, we were going to modify our response based on whether they just stopped everything or remained the same, or they escalated. And they came back and they said, we're escalating. Okay, fine. You've made your decision, and now we no longer have to decide exactly how we're going to proceed. We know exactly how we're going to proceed. Let's go.
Look, that Libiano Chris situation to me was a perfect representation of what happens. Libiano was there the whole time telling bro, calm down, let's talk, calm down, let's talk. That's what we did to these guys.
Oh my goodness, watch the video.
Yeah. Yo, Logic, relax, stop blaspheming. David, yo, stop ripping the books. Yo, AP, stop ripping the Quran and putting it in shapes on debates. Yo,
when were you saying this, Malik? And keep in mind, when did any of the ripping the Quran, when did that start? When did that start? Do you remember, Malik? It started when Muhammad Hijab said, instead of going after these guys, I'm going after their wives instead. Started going after, and he was going after the wives of ex-Muslim atheists, started going after their wives. That's when I started ripping up the Quran. That's when I started Quranagami, all that stuff, right? And what did Muhammad Hijab do recently? Calls God Logic's wife Christina a whore. Does he know the consequences? Absolutely. He cannot pretend to be ignorant on this. So when the consequences come, guess what? He invited them. So guys, everything we're doing is a reaction. Everything. And they're acting like, no, we're just reacting to them and trying to get them to stop. And we tried reasoning with them. No, when? You guys insult and you threaten and you dox. And so, while you're doing all that, you're threatening us to stop. No, now you'd better stop. Now you'd better stop. Well, guess what? No one's stopping like that, right? So welcome to Fantasyland. If you feel better, if you're patting yourself on the back, if you feel better, well, good luck in jail. Feeling like you were right because nothing was going on. We just, hey, let's just rip up the Quran for fun. Stupid idiot. Man.
Oh,
and notice, just in case anyone has any doubts whatsoever, notice that Malik has two primary targets: David, which makes sense, and God Logic. God Logic has not been involved at any point at any of this. And Malik has tried to claim that God Logic is against what David does, and he still attacks him more vigorously than anyone else. How did he reinitiate this? He got that video about his wife published. It doesn't make any difference, right? This is not about getting, stopping David or getting revenge on us or whatever. It's him going after people he doesn't like. It has absolutely nothing to do with our actions.
Mm-hmm. As far as like God Logic, because it's not just him, right? It's like they're all obsessed. They're all obsessed with God Logic. Like Libiano and Muhammad Hijab. They could have gone after anyone. They could have gone after anyone a couple days ago. Who they go after? God Logic's wife. Why? One, they can tell where this guy's still brand new. I mean, he's still brand new, and he is having. We've never seen anyone come on the scene like this quickly and start impacting the world like this. I mean, who else can you point to? There were others like we were doing it. I mean, it took years to get people to listen to anything. It took a long time, year after year after year, trying to get people to listen to anything, and just progress was just so slow. God Logic comes along, has wherever you go, crowds yelling, "What's the Injil? What's the Injil? What's the Injil?" So they're seeing the impact. But the other thing is just, I think, obvious. Is jealousy. They all think that should be them coming on the scene, right? That should be us coming on the scene, everyone cheering, and we get this huge impact over, almost instantly and stuff like that. Start impacting people around the world. They all want to be God Logic, and they can't because they suck and because they're stupid, and they don't get it. They don't get it.
One thing I noticed too, like on the TikTok spaces, they imitate him too. They imitate his arguments, but try to make them like Muslim. For example, they're like, and I actually engaged with one of them because I thought it was so stupid. They said Jesus is a Muslim. And I'm like, this is the most like retarded thing that I've ever heard in my life. They're like, Jesus is a Muslim. I never even heard this growing up, but a lot of Muslims seem to believe this statement. They said that Jesus is a Muslim, like Hassan Shibli, um, and they were like, "We'll give you $200 if you can prove that Jesus is not a Muslim." Like, that's super easy. Like, he didn't make salat, he didn't pay zakat, he didn't make shahada, he didn't fast the month of Ramadan, and he didn't go to Hajj to Mecca. Okay, case closed. He's not a Muslim. You know what I mean? So I'm like, this is a ridiculous argument, but they imitated God logic to the beat. They like imitated all the things where they're like, "We'll give you $200 if you can't." And they said, and then I brought up this certain point. They're like, "Well, I said Abraham wasn't a Muslim. He's a Hanif. That's what the Quran says." And they're like, "Well, it says what Islam to you?" And I'm like, "Well, when that word Muslim's used, you could say it's a descriptive word, and any scholar worth their salt knows that. The Quran does not say these people are Muslim. It might say descriptively that they submit to God, but they're not actually religious Muslims. They can't be, because Islam means something. It means you have to follow these pillars of Islam, and if they don't, then how can they be Muslim? It's ridiculous. It's like a lie. It's a bid'ah. It's an innovation that these Muslims have created, and I don't understand it.
Yeah, look at this. So we have big jealous of Avery. Yeah, then we have check this out. They're jealous of Avery. Yes, absolutely. But check this out. That's because they see God logic as an Abid. Yep. Black slave, and they hate him because he's black. There is that. They can say all that. They can say all they want. They do, and you could just look at what happened. Chris is speaking out in London. What happened when David, who's black, started talking? They started hurling racial insult, racial slurs at him. They do. It is very common. It is very common to have these race issues. So, in other words, it's a parallel. It's like when a woman. It's like when Hatun starts schooling them. There's an extra level of rage. It's, you should not be the one schooling us right here. And so you have God logic come along. Not only does he just like start crushing them, not only can he has to actually chase these guys around the world to try and get them to debate. And all they do is hide. They're terrified of him. And who are they terrified of? A guy they think is inferior. He's destroying everything, everything they hold dear. And you know what's fun? You know what's also funny? Because we were somewhere for some recordings and stuff like that, and we were in like the green room, and God Logic just starts going live on TikTok, and he's talking to a guy on TikTok. He's talking to a Muslim live on TikTok, and I went around and stuck my head in there and started chatting with this guy, and he goes, "No, I don't like you. I don't like you. I want to talk to him. I want to talk to him." And I was like, you realize he's way more dangerous, right? Because I'm a jerk, so I'm like easy to dismiss. He's a jerk, he's mean and stuff like this. Avery's just super nice and smiling while he's destroying your entire religion in your face, and you don't realize it because he's so pleasant and stuff while he's talking to you. I'm thinking, he's more dangerous than I am, man. And so anyway, that a lot of people didn't catch on. It's like the Dawa guys are catching on now. It's like, that's the guy, not these old guys like D Wood who are, going to be on their way out soon enough. It's the new guy that's getting everyone super excited and that everyone's listening to all day long, learning how to respond to the Dawa guys. You know what I told my son? No, what I told my son, guys? So my son, he was not interested in dealing with Islam at all, ever. Till Malik came along, started threatening his mom. He'd already gotten ticked off before, like after his brother Reed died. And Muslims were mouthing off, but even that wasn't enough to make him like want to target Islam. On top of that, they started threatening his mom, calling and harassing his mom. He's like, "All right, I'm going to go destroy Qurans and this and that." And anyway, I had to, and then he starts coming out to me every day with all these ideas for destroying Qurans and stuff. I'm like, look, just so you know, man, this is an exception. This is when people cross certain lines. This is not what you want to be doing normally. You got to learn apologetics and stuff like that. So when you're not around me, you need to be watching God Logic, man. Watch God Logic show. That's where everyone is learning how to respond. Why? He takes a live call in, they call, and they bring up their objection and they get owned. Guess what? They only have a certain number of objections. They keep bringing up the same objections, and people keep learning how to respond, and they have no plan B, man. And then check this out.
They curse him.
Halal duck lips here. Yep. It's obvious Malik is jealous. Christina gets all of Avery's attention. I don't know. I don't know what Malik's into. But he's obviously, yeah, I can't tell. But yeah, I
Christina's
think
actually an
no,
amazing
I
debater
think it
too.
is. Like, yeah, it is. He does seem to be obsessed with Avery and is just jealous that Avery chose Christina, not Malik.
GodLogic's everything that Malik wants to be. He's popular. He wins arguments. He has a loving wife. Malik has nothing.
Yeah,
he has
total loser.
He has 130 people who watch him on TikTok who are mostly between the ages of 12 and 18.
Mm-hmm. And
do you know who I think the best lawyer is?
What's his big contribution in the world? Causing the biggest campaign of Quran desecration the world has ever seen, and causing everyone around it. I mean, now he's the reason. He's the reason his buddy's about to get disbarred. Just epic disaster. Toxic people. Total loser. Anyway, what are you saying, Issa?
Oh, I'm so sorry. Well, the thing that I saw is that Avery's a much better debater or lawyer than this other guy is. What's his name?
Yeah.
Ramouche. He's a bit. I think if Avery went into law, he'd probably be very successful.
Oh, he would.
You know,
he'd be a billionaire, man.
Because he's very good at it. Like, I've watched his conversations. He's very good at, like, he knows the information. He knows how to dissect the argument. And you're right. And most of the people just say the same.
He's quick. He's extremely smart. He if there's ever anything he does, he learns. If there's something he doesn't know, he learns it really quickly and adapts. And they're doomed,
You're
man.
right.
They're doomed. We could all sit back and retire, and the incompetence and stupidity and horrible tactics of Dawa guys would cause them to implode just on their own. But you want to accelerate it, but we could basically sit back and watch GodLogic and cheer for him, and he'd do it.
And you know who else is an amazing debater? His wife Christina is too. I saw her on the Dr. Daff show. I watched that show a couple times, and she did amazing. Like the Muslims women versus the Christian women, like it was shocking. The Christian women dominated the show. They knew Islamic sources. They were like the one young lady was like, she never even read the Bible. And I'm like, you're coming to a conversation where you don't even know what the Bible says. And you say the Bible's corrupted and you've never read it. That's embarrassing. Like, that's extremely embarrassing that you're going to come to this place. And then all the Christian women knew the Quran and Hadith way more than any of the Muslim. And then the poor South Asian Muslim woman, she said that Mansur al-Hallaj was killed. And that was like a great thing, like that, his blood said, Anal Haq, I am the truth. I'm like, who killed Mansur Hallaj? It was another Muslim. Like, that's not a good sign for you. You're saying that the Muslims killed other Muslims based on, that they were takfiring and saying that the person did kufr. That's a bad position for you. And I don't think she realized that. Because, like, it's a great story within, like, because South Asian Muslims are usually, like, Sufi oriented. So it's like, oh, this is this great heroic story of this man who really was in a divine state, but it's not but she's missing the point that it's showing that the Muslim community is extremely violent, that they're willing to kill someone who says I am the truth. You know what I mean? It was not a good sign for her. And it was just embarrassing.
Yeah, and too many Marys pointed out here, they had all the questions ahead of time. These women all showed up knowing exactly what the issues were going to be, and the Muslim women, and it was so bad, guys. If you haven't watched that, definitely watch that. But it was so bad that Muslims afterward thought that these women were plants, that these women had been, it was all a setup and so on. It's like, no, they showed up thinking the normal Dawa script that they use is going to work. And it didn't work. It didn't work at all. But what was interesting was Christina afterwards said she basically just was learning like everyone else learned. She learns listening to GodLogic, and that's what's terrifying these guys, right? She sits there listening to GodLogic's live streams and was able to go in there and debate and crush women who've been doing dawah all these years, right? Guess what? Tons of people are watching Avery. The dawah guys are catching on to it. Like, but what do you do? Think. I mean, just think, guys, what do you do? You can't debate him because he'll crush you and you'll help him become more popular and humiliate yourselves. What do you do? He's lied multiple times per week. What do you do? He's training more and more people. He's crushing dawah. He's got Muslims converting almost every show. What do you do? I know. Let's call his wife a whore. Yeah, it's going to impress so many people outside your little group. No, it's not going to impress one person outside your idiot little group. Bunch of dummies.
And by the way, notice
morons,
the other consequences of that. Do you think that the show that Avery had today would have happened under normal circumstances? That's not what he does, right? It is what you and I do, but it's not what Avery does. He doesn't go around insulting Muhammad.
Yeah, today's live stream, if you missed it, guys, today's live stream on Avery's channel was a big mockery fest of the Muslim sources. That took place. Why? And by the way, because people get confused about this when I say, hey, you start calling names, we'll just start ripping up the Quran. I'm saying, look, we can have a discussion. We can argue points. If you just decide to go in a completely different direction with insults and threats and stuff like that, okay, then we're not on the level of discussion anymore. We'll just go to the level of mockery and desecration and stuff like that. I'm fine with it. If that's your choice, then let's do that. You're going to lose that one too. This is the Dawah dilemma, man. This is the Dawah dilemma. Do you engage in arguments, in which case you get crushed, or do you go to the realm of insults and mockery and stuff, in which case you'll still get crushed? Get crushed or get crushed. That's what your options are right now. They're feeling it, and they don't know what to do. And let's try going after someone's wife again. That's worked so well in the past. Yeah. So now you saw what God logic did. Now you saw what God logic did. And keep in mind, guys, they're so stupid, right? Like Malik was like, well, David's going to rip the Quran anyway. Right. But when you do what you do, everyone else starts siding with me more and understanding why, right? When you guys act like that, you just made God Logic's fans who love him and love his wife, you made them a lot more hostile towards your side. You made them a lot more hostile. And now, when we do Quran Demolition Ranch, there's going to be more people who like it. Why? Because of you guys. If you guys were the nice guys and we're the big jerks, that'd be one thing. But everyone's like, I see why you guys are... Thaddeus, we got a real flamethrower coming.
We do. So our flamethrower from episode 1 of Quran Demolition Ranch was pretty cool.
No, it was cool. It was cool.
But it was it was a barbecue tool that shot like 3 feet or something.
Yeah,
5 feet, something like that.
It shot like 3 or 4 feet, but was still super awesome. Now we got one that shoots 20 feet and is way cooler. Anyway, we got that. We got Tannerite. We got all kinds of stuff. And why? Guys, you know why? Thaddeus, were we planning on meeting to go to record an episode 2 of Quran Demolition Ranch? No. Then what happens? Chris got punched in the face. Keep in mind, that could have if that were just a random enraged Muslim who takes a swing, after taking a swing at David, 2 swings at David, if that had just been a guy, and then everyone condemned him, we wouldn't have reacted to that. We would have made fun of him. If all of the guys had condemned it, we wouldn't have done anything in response, except go after him, and we'd say, oh, is this a religion of peace and things like that. That's not what happened. Yep. You guys all started cheering for it and mocking Chris and saying, Chris's nose died for our sins. Mocking. That's how you responded. And then what do you do? You try to one-up yourselves and, hey, let's go after God Logic's wife and call her a whore. You reap what you sow, guys. You reap what you sow. And you seriously don't get it. If you go back, lots of people. Matter of fact, let me put it. I was talking about when this all started. When Muhammad Hijab started going after people's wives, and then I ate the Quran in response, Muslims took the clip just of me eating the Quran. They sent it out to all the Christian apologists and stuff like that and started complaining, oh, look at this monster. For a long time, I got complaints from Christians. David, were you eating the Quran? I would estimate that 98 to 99% of the time when I explained why, all of a sudden their objection went away, right? So think about this. These were all, the people sending me messages are coming up and talking to me when I'm in a conference. Did you eat the Quran? Those were all people who were like, you can't eat the Quran, man. Why would you do that? As soon as I explained, no, they're starting this campaign of going after people's wives instead of the people and harassing them with threats of rape and torture and stuff like that. And I knew I could stop them by doing that and make them stop. And then they, oh, yeah, you had to do that then. They understand it. In other words, your behavior was the justification in the minds of people who ordinarily would be horrified by that. Your behavior is so terrible, is so awful, that suddenly they start approving things that they never thought they would approve of, ever. And now, what are you doing? I mean, at least when you're going after, at least when if you were going after my wife or something like that, okay, David rips the Quran, David does maybe that, maybe you could defend that. You're going after God Logic's wife? God Logic? What does he do? He didn't do any of this ripping the Quran. He didn't do any of this stuff. And you're still going after his wife? Guess what? A lot of people just became a lot more hostile to your religion, which means people are going to be more aggressive because of your terrible behavior, which is going to make you guys flip out even more and do more stupid stuff, which will allow us, and you just lose, guys. You lost whenever you got into this battle. Because why? Do you know why you lose? Do you know why you lose all this? You are the most psychologically fragile people in the world. You can't take the mockery. We're good at taking mockery. We're really good at taking mockery. You guys are the worst on the planet at taking mockery. And so the moment you get into an insult mockery battle, you already lost. And what do? Here you are, right in the middle of the battle. Good luck. Hats off to you. Hats off. All right, let's get into this.
Quran and putting in shapes on debates. Yo, modern day debates. Stop allowing people to blaspheme. Stop blaspheming yourself. Yo, guys, stop. They don't want to stop. They keep going, right? And then when we de-escalate, then they're like, "Nah, we're gonna keep doing it. What you gonna do?"
When did they de-escalate? I don't remember that. I do not remember.
I want to ask a question about the blasphemy. He's saying stop blasphemy. What does that mean? If you're saying, like, people saying hostile things about Islam, I'm like, every time a person says that the Bible is corrupted, that's blaspheming too. Does he not, like, understand that this goes both ways? Like, these people are kind of, they're not really sharp in the head.
Goes both ways. Not like Muhammad, but goes both ways. Say,
oh my God, I can't believe this.
Issa, I'm tired, man. Normally I dial things back when Issa's here and stuff because he's nice and we get.
You're killing me, Smalls. You're killing me, Smalls. Just one other point that you had mentioned earlier that I remembered. You were talking about sort of like anti-blackness. I've noticed that a lot. I went to a school that had a predominantly Arab population as well as black population, and I heard the Arab students calling the black students himar and kird. Kird is like a ape, himar is donkey, and what's the other one? Abed, these like slave. And I couldn't believe it. It was shocking. It was horrifying. And the leadership of the school was Arab, so they did nothing to stop the Arab students from treating the black students in a terrible way. And I talked to students afterwards from the same school who graduated later, like, yeah, they're like, this stuff still keeps happening. We're still being abused. The black students were like, we're still being abused, and they're not doing anything to stop the abuse. And these black students are Muslim students too. So they're attacking Muslim black students. So I'm like, it's abusive. It's evil and abusive. And it needs to be called out. There needs to be accountability. And what happened to Dawood/David in UK was horrific. And what they did to Chris was horrific. And I'm like, all you have to do is have a conversation. Okay, you may not agree with things, but you're saying nasty things about Christianity and Judaism. Do you think that why aren't people getting mad and trying to punch you? You know what I'm saying? It's maybe because they have better character, they have better manners, they have better. The words are adab and akhlaq, good character and better manners.
We're not so psychologically fragile. That's the point. Like, keep in mind that they punched David in the face. He didn't even react. Then they took another swing, kind of missed him, hit someone else, and then the guy tries to take off running. Chris, but I mean, think about this. They're sitting there calling David, black guy, black Christian there. They're sitting there calling him a ape and circus monkey and stuff like that. And then they get violent with him. And then they punch Chris in the face. And the Dawa guys all regard this as a great victory. You guys already lost. You guys already lost. You are so dysfunctional that you think that's a win. Oh my goodness. You guys have no idea how cooked you are. We have Issa knows Sandlot. Yes, Issa knows pretty much every movie that you've ever seen, just so you know. All right.
Thank you.
right? And then when we get busy now, it's like, oh, look at these guys. They're coming after us. They're illegal and all that nonsense, right?
It's assault and battery. It is illegal what they're doing. They're doing assault and battery. That's criminal acts.
Yep.
And doxing is criminal too. You're doing a bunch of criminal acts, and you're right. Like, it's sickening that these people, like, they think that they can just do whatever they want. They don't, like. And I want to tell you one other thing. I saw this show called Big Think, where they debate, like, kind of religion in the UK, and there was this Muslim Pakistani woman wearing a niqab, and the British person was like, the host was asking her, and she was like, he was asking her, well, about the niqab, like, what would you do? Like, she said, I believe in freedom in, like, the UK, and that's why I wear the niqab. And he's like, well, what happens if this was a Muslim country? Would everybody have to wear niqab? He's like, would everyone have to wear a niqab? And then she was like, yes, I think that would be great. So then he's like, well, is that really freedom? Do you actually believe in freedom? And I'm like, it's a grift. If I would have pushed on that if I was that host. I'm like, this is sickening. So you're a charlatan, a liar, and a grifter. You're telling us that you want to use the freedom so you can personally have practice. But you're saying if you're in power, you would oppress people. That's disgusting and gross. When a person tells me that, I'm like, ugh. I have nothing to do with that kind of person. I'm like, you don't want freedom. You're just like, you're taking advantage.
You're using it to take away to ultimately take away other people's freedom.
That's it. And you're taking advantage of the kindness of other people. And then if you had power, you would take away other people's freedoms. You're not a good person. You're a villain. That's what I feel.
Yeah. And here we have, does Issa know Human Centipede? Don't answer, Issa, because I know you probably do. I'm hoping you've never watched it. I knew what that was.
Horror movie.
That's the sort of thing I would have watched when I was young and had no interest in after I became a Christian and stuff like that. But the follow-up is funny. Human Centipede. We need to make a movie we need to make a funny video called Human Centipede. No, look, I never saw the movie, but I knew what it was about. But what was funny, Issa, don't know if you saw this, but they had a Key and Peele sketch where it's like extremely messed up. Someone's at like a restaurant and like he recognizes the waiter as someone who was formerly part of one of the human centipedes. There were two of the people who were part of the human centipede saw each other, and then they have to address this awkward situation. You might want to check that out. Not the movie, guys. Not the movie. You can check out the Key and Peele sketch. It was pretty funny. All right, here we go.
But before you go on, I just want to summarize Malik's claim here. So his claim is they backed down, or de-escalated. His words, right? They de-escalated. We did not, and now so now he's been forced to re-escalate. And now we're whining and crying about how they're committing crimes. Literally none of that is true as far as sequence goes.
No, he lives in a total fantasy land, man. Total fantasy land. It's narcissism. Mixed up. Here we go.
Let me say this.
Wait, but Christians, of course they wouldn't.
There have been people telling me from the very outset, focus on the dawah. Don't get mixed up with these guys. Don't get mixed up with this guy. And yes, your name has come up multiple times by
you should have heeded that advice. I would have told you that in the first 2 minutes of me ever hearing this guy snitching on everybody. I would have told, do not associate with that dude. Do not put that dude in a position where he ever knows anything about you. Stay away from that. That dude is evil, narcissistic, and toxic. And here we are. Here you are about to be disbarred. Now, keep in mind, it's your own actions. It's your own actions and stuff. But you being connected to this guy is what revealed things about you.
But you got mixed. But bro, you wanted to get mixed up.
Can I say this?
You wanted to get mixed up.
And me like falling for the. Here's my problem, right?
Sound like he was about to say falling for getting involved in this.
Admit to my faults and be accountable, right? Let me just be out here, be honest with everybody, and tell the truth, right? I had a moment where I actually heard a voice that said Jesus is God. I actually had a vision, these things actually happened to me, and they stirred me to my core, right? And when you kept like kind of putting it out there and pressing that issue, it kind of spun me out, like, to be fair with you. And it really made me
Wait, what does spun me out mean? I don't know what that means.
like,
I also do not know what spun me out means. So that's the second time I've ever agreed with Malik on anything. One, that this will get him disbarred, and two, that we don't know what spun me out means.
I think it kind of put me in a position where I had to like question like those experiences, question like what I've been doing for the last year, like trying to be a hardcore advocate for Dawah, trying to like understand like how to refute the Trinity. My behavior like was unbecoming online. I didn't like the way Dawah was going. Like it was becoming more like.
So I think it's really hard to say, right? Because clearly he's been lying some portion of the time. But this story is a central theme to all the disputes between Speaking and other Muslims. So he says he had this encounter where he heard a voice, and he sent messages to a number of Christians about it. Then people found out about it, and then he told the Muslims that he was lying, that it didn't happen, that he was just trying to get information out of the Christians. However, before any of it was made public, he had sent Malik messages saying that it was a legitimate encounter and he didn't know what to do about it. So it wasn't just it wasn't just Christians that he sent it to. And now he says that he did have an encounter, that he thought maybe it was demonic. That's what he was saying a month ago when he was Muslim. Now he's saying he just doesn't know what to make of it. So I think something really happened, right? I think that he really had some kind of encounter. It's the only thing that makes sense, the evidence. I don't think he just made it up out of nowhere. And I think that he is genuinely questioning Islam, in part because of the behavior of people like Malik. That's ironically enough, Malik may have managed to help lead Speaking out of Islam. I have no reason to believe that he is a genuine Christian at this point, but I don't think he's completely faking things either. And, you know, I care deeply about his soul, and I want him to come to Christ. But at the same time, there needs to be consequences for his actions. And those consequences might be exactly what he needs to bring him to Christ. So I'm sympathetic to his story. I mean, some people think he's just faking, right? And I'm not telling anyone else what to think. I'm telling people my thoughts on the situation. I'm praying for him. I'm hoping that he comes to truly become a Christian and denounce Islam. But that doesn't change what I need to do, what David and I need to do to put an end to this whole Malik situation.
Yep. And along those lines, Thaddeus. So, guys, if you're getting what Thaddeus was saying right there, so I heard Jesus. I heard the voice saying, Jesus saying, "I am God," and so on. And then, wrestling with whether this is true or not. Well, guess what? That's he sounds sincere about that. As far as how you would use that, there were just too many times. This was in prison. I would see someone. Sometimes I'd be the only person in the dorm or something like that, and I'd see someone. Like I saw one time this guy. This one guy didn't like this other guy. So he went and grabbed the guy's. People, you could buy like little TVs and stuff like this. He went and grabbed the dude's little TV, went and stuck it in the sink, filled it up with water and stuff like this, and went back and just stuck it back there, right? And so I was the only one in there. I was the only one in the dorm, and I was the only one who saw it. Later on, the dude whose TV got messed up, he thought someone else had done it. And he goes over and just starts busting this guy's head open with a lock. So now it's like, I'm not going to snitch, but I'm not going to let a guy's head get busted open with a lock for something he didn't do. So I go over there, I jump in between him. I said, he ain't the one who did it, man. He ain't the one who did it. He's not the one who did it. So guess now everyone knows who did it, right? I made it clear. I'm not telling. But then anyway, the guy who put his TV in the water, all of a sudden after that, he comes up to me and goes, "Hey man, I've been really interested in going to church. Could I go with you?" And I'm like, "Okay, now you're ticking me off, right? Now you're trying to manipulate me, right? Like, do not. I'm not going to snitch. I'm not going to do it, but don't act like you're all of a sudden, I'm just interested in going to church. What is that? That's David. Please don't tell on me because I'm going to be your Christian buddy now. Right? So anyway, that happened in various ways over the years. Someone's on someone's bad side and then, I'm thinking about converting to Christianity now. And like anyone's going to fall for that. Anyway, point is, when you're dealing with someone who is, scheming and gathering information and, helping people dox people and then going and hanging out with the people that you're doxing and you're doxing their families and stuff like that. And then, I'm really struggling with Christian. Okay, we are not taking that into account because one, we don't trust you. And two, it doesn't matter. You got to learn. I'm a big fan of learning consequences. Mm-hmm. I'm a big advocate of learning consequences of your actions. It can be absolutely life-changing. If you've been going down this screwed up road where you rely on lies and deceit and trickery and stuff like that, the best thing that can happen to you is you realize none of this works and that it actually destroys your life and career. That's what you need to learn. And that is the best thing we can do. And even more so for Malik. Malik really has to learn the hard way. He really has to learn. All right, here we go.
I had one question too that I was thinking about that came up, and this question is about like the lawyer speaking Muslim, and the lawyer, or I think he's the lawyer, right? Speaking Muslim,
yeah,
or speaking now. He mentioned that he supported the Dawah, and he said, "I want to disprove the Trinity." So that's something that kind of was a bizarre thing. It actually came up in a debate that I had with God Logic because I was in a debate with him, I think a year ago. The debate, the point came up about like the Trinity, and I'm like, how does one disprove that? Like, if you're granting that God is real, right? How do you disprove the Trinity? I mean, God can be whatever God wants to be. So if we're granting this, we're granting that there's this supernatural being that's beyond us. How do you argue what that being is? Like, how do you argue and say, well, this being can't be this way because it has to be one thing? And I'm like, how can you do that? How do you successfully make that argument? I don't know how you would do that because we're already granting something that's beyond us, that's transcendent of us, that's beyond like our human comprehension. So if you're going to go and say, well, it can't be this Trinity, it has to be just one God. I'm like, even if you grant that there's one God, that one God is not going to be any kind of human comprehension of like the sort of the taking like the classical kind of Islamic sort of monotheistic Tawheed position. It's still not something that's like something that you can understand with your comprehension. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's what I find is weird. Like, you're trying to take two concepts that are abstract and are beyond human comprehension, say, well, my abstract comprehension is so much superior than yours. How do you do that? That makes no sense. When I was listening to him say that, I'm like, how does the Dawah prove that? It can't. It doesn't have the ability or the tool set to do it.
All right, now we have a message to Thaddeus and Dave. Hey, that's us. All right, let's see.
Yep.
Yeah, so this is not debating anymore, right? This is not debating anymore. And this is my number one contention with coming on here and actually giving a position about what I believe and what I choose, because regardless of what I believe and what I choose, people are going to choose to retaliate against me because of what I believe and what I choose. And that's the reality of it. And, frankly, it is what it is, and D-Wood, Thaddeus, whatever your problem is with me, I'm going to join you guys on your show tomorrow. So make sure you have a StreamYard link up. I'm going to engage with you guys on your show while you talk shit about me. And then we can engage together. I'll give you that courtesy.
Did you give him the link, Thaddeus?
I did.
That's
I
what I
sent
thought
it
you
to
said.
him. Yeah, I sent it to him in 2 different ways, in fact. So, yeah.
Sent him the link, said he was going to join us, did not join us. Okay, no, and we pointed out already there can be wise reasons for that, as from a lawyer perspective. But that whole Thaddeus, David, I don't understand what your guys' problem with me. Okay, let's break it down for you. You compiled a bunch of information about us and our families, other Christian apologists and their families, and handed it to Malik so that he could dox and harass and threaten all of us. So I hope that helps. I hope that helps clarify things for you, for what our problem with you is. Just hope that helps.
Yeah, and just to be clear, it has nothing to do with your beliefs, right? You could be the most devout Muslim in terms of your theological beliefs, and if you weren't attacking people personally, you wouldn't be involved in this, right? If you weren't providing people's information, you wouldn't be involved in this. Or you could be the nicest guy in the world, and you could be a Christian who thinks that David is a bad influence on Christianity or something and wants to get rid of him, and you're providing the information. Guess what? You would be involved, because what the problem here is the actions that are illegal and immoral, not the theological beliefs of the people involved. And that's why you're a part of the situation speaking. You may not get it. You might be like, oh, I'm barely even a Muslim. Why are they going after me of all people? Because you're involved in a not just unethical, but actually quite dangerous, right? You're giving out this information, and yeah, 99.99% of Malik's dumb audience, of the people who hear it, will never do anything with it. But it only takes one nutcase who is inspired to go and physically harm someone. Look, I mean, Chris was just physically attacked this past weekend. It can happen. And you're encouraging people to do that. So, of course, we have a problem with this, right? You might be like, oh, I didn't do anything. All I did is compile some public information. Yeah, with knowing that Malik is a psycho who's going to use this information to try to get people hurt.
He's not a psycho. He's a narcissist. Don't be dissing psychos. We don't want him. We don't want him in our camp.
All right, that's all I wanted to say.
Huh?
Yeah, I'm gonna go on their show. If they're gonna talk shit about me and call me a T, I want to be up there.
Where is he?
To defend myself.
You could have been here to defend yourself, man.
Why would you? Huh? Yo, speaking.
Yeah.
Why would you go? Why would you go
to people who are actually reasonable and listen, and you could actually maybe convince them that it wasn't like what they think, and it wasn't as bad, and give them the document and show exactly what you shared, and maybe it's not what it sounds like, and maybe Malik was exaggerating. Well, why do all that? Why not just stick with me, Malik, the guy who snitches on you, and just told them that you're responsible, and the one that handed the info to? What an idiot, man! I'm talking about Malik.
Malik is perplexed, but he also, I think he's pretty terrified of what might happen.
Yeah. By the way, and Thaddeus already pointed that out, but yeah, that's the real reason. That's the real reason Malik didn't want to come on here, right? He's worried that Ramsey would give information on Malik. Guys, we don't need any more. We don't need any more information on Malik. We don't need any. He's broken tons of crimes and recorded himself doing it. That's it. That's all you need. It's like saying, hey, this guy murdered 10 people and filmed himself doing it and then confessed to everything. And he's worried that someone's going to snitch on him. Dude, you don't need to snitch in that situation.
Give them more ammo.
How is that?
You said you're going to give them more ammo. What ammo do we need? What ammo do we need now, guys? We waited until you gave us all the ammo. We sat here and waited and pushed your buttons and annoyed you so that you kept giving us more and more ammo. And now we have a massive arsenal.
Ammo to
the only thing
tell them
that speaking could potentially give us that is proof of our claims, right? That's the only thing that I think he could potentially give us that, is more ammo. It's just, concrete proof of what's pretty obvious, but, technically we don't have proof. He could provide screenshots. He could provide the documents. He could say, this is exactly what Malik said. And he would have a potential like a mitigating circumstance if he said, Malik said that he was going to, send his terrorist friend after my sister if I didn't compile this information for him. I'm just making something up, but there's a possibility that he was under threat from Malik or whatever. I don't think that's the case, but I'm saying that he could provide us the proof that we need to get, well, frankly, we don't need it. We already have it, but make it a bit easier, right? A bit easier to get Malik into legal trouble because, as you said earlier, it's ultimately up to a district attorney. And you know what they like? Easily winnable cases. So the more evidence you have, the more likely they are to take up the case.
Yeah, and the only thing I'd be interested in at this point, which is why, if they didn't start escalating very recently, I'd have waited. I'd have kept pushing Malik's buttons and let this continue for a while. Why? Because we know there are still other people involved. We know Central Dawa's involved. We don't know his exact involvement. We know there was a woman involved, right? We know that. I don't know her exact involvement. Was it just a little fake interview you did, or is she's part of like a scheme behind that? Because keep in mind that's all conspiracy. So anyway, we could have waited and got more information because this blabbermouth is happy to share it, but no. We decided to proceed. So yeah, there are other things he could share and stuff. But as far as Ramsey and Malik, they're just in trouble, man. They're just in trouble.
Yeah, the only thing that I'd be highly interested in from Ramsey is that document. And again, he provides that document, and it's clear that it's legitimately the actual document that he shared with Malik. Then and it exonerates him, then I'd be happy to post a full retraction. I'm sure David would as well. Correct the record. No, we're not unreasonable. I just don't see it as plausible, right? I just don't see how it's plausible that he could actually be exonerated.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're full of crap. Like I'm not.
Yeah, but the thing is, you're gonna get questioned about things, and anything they say, it's a question for why would you put yourself in that position to give them the power to question you? Are you okay?
I don't think he's okay. All right, here we have not defamatory.
It's like, this is, like I said, like literally why I walked away, because we can't just have conversations about theology.
Well, let me ask you this, bro. Them calling you a T-word.
Well, they're not saying I'm a T-word. They're not saying. They're asking. They're not saying, they're asking, which is not the same as saying. So,
here's where his lawyering comes in handy. Yeah, I didn't say he's a terrorist. I said I don't know exactly, because we're going to see this. The definitions are kind of all over the place. I mean, even from like government agencies and so on, they're giving very different things. So I don't know if if it has to reach a certain level of severity to be even called that. But like, according to the FBI's definition, what he did was not terrorism. What like the one listed by Congress, it could be, but I don't know exactly what the requirements are. So we're going to take a look at that here in a second. But he's actually pointing out they didn't call me a terrorist. That, like, the title is California lawyer Ramsey Abboushi a terrorist? Yeah, I'm not calling him one. I'm saying looks like he's a doxer. Looks like that. Looks like he's done some messed up stuff. Really, really looks like he needs to be disbarred. Looks like he's violating all sorts of ethical things and so on, and that should not be a lawyer and so on. Is this stuff a kind of terrorism? I don't know. We're going to check out the. We're almost done. There's only a few seconds left, but we're going to check that out.
It's not even defamatory in the first place, but it's just the insinuation. Considering I literally was nice to the guy.
Didn't you offer him a chicken sandwich?
I didn't.
I handed you a ton of stuff that you could use to harass and threaten him and endanger his entire family and a bunch of other people and stuff like that. But even after I was nice to him, even after I was nice to him. You think I took any of how seriously do you think I take niceness in the context of you guys coming out to me at DebateCon, right? Like I'll hope for the best, but it's not a situation where you guys are like the most trustworthy people on the planet, right? And I'm talking to you, and I'm talking to you, and I'm talking because you were rolling with Jake, right? There were other Muslims there that I got along with very well. I totally trust those guys. What's up?
And also, I would say, like, they're saying, "Oh, I'm being nice," and then you're insulting your religion by saying the Bible is corrupt. I have to go back to that point because the thing is, you're thinking you're nice. You're not really nice. You're mocking and insulting your religion too. So it's like the thing is, there is a conflict and there's a tension, and I think you can come as colleagues and have a conversation and shake hands, but the thing is, I think you probably would have a better relationship with someone like Shabir Ali. You know what I'm saying? Like, because he's kind of a person who has, like sensibilities, like a regular human being. These other people are like, I don't know, like they're like discount gangsters. You know what I mean? Like they want to, like the Club Pyro is supposed to be some kind of crypt or blood or something like that. And really what they're doing is they want to be tough, but they're not tough. And so they do all this kind of stuff, and it's just, it's really whack. Like, that's why I keep bringing up, like, Malibu's Most Wanted, because it looks like that. They're, they have the gang that's walking around, and it's like, it's a fraud, Mm-hmm. It's a fraud. And I think these people should feel embarrassed for themselves, honestly speaking, and just clean up their act, Yeah.
And I'll have to say, it's just weird. Over time in prison, you can spot the fakes, and usually the guys running their mouths and stuff like that, they're fakes, and they find out quick. Like, I mean, like in prison, they come along. Some guys come in there, yeah, nobody better mess with me, blah blah blah. They get punched in the face pretty quick, and then all of a sudden their entire attitude changes. But people can spot the guys who are pretending to be thugs but aren't, and these guys are all pretending to be thugs. They're a bunch of freaking dorks. All right, couple seconds left.
Literally was nice to the guy.
Didn't you offer him a chicken sandwich?
I didn't offer him necessarily a chicken sandwich. I offered everybody a chicken sandwich, and that was like
He may have, but he did specifically offer me a chicken sandwich. So yeah, he's misremembering that.
I mean, he was probably part of the group.
Was it halal chicken sandwich?
Bro, listen, dude. I was actually. Hey, listen. I'm not gonna lie. Like when I was talking to him, I was convinced. Like, I'm like, this guy doesn't really hate Muslims. I was like, there must be something else to this. I don't know, bro, but whatever. It is what it is. Whatever. It is what it is, man.
Yep. And so he's like, so he says he concluded this guy doesn't hate Muslims. Guess what? I don't. He says, got to be something else. So it's definitely something else. You guys are obsessed with controlling, and I really, really, more than anything in the world, can't stand people people who have no business controlling other people being obsessed with controlling other people. If you have a legitimate authority over someone, I have zero objections. If you're a bunch of the world's biggest dorks and you're like, but our religion teaches us that we're the most important people and everyone else is garbage and we got to be in charge. And so let's try threatening them. Oh, that's not working. Oh, let's try this. Oh, let's play victim. I can't stand it, man. I can't stand it. And I will escalate every single freaking time you try it. And I was always like that before I was a Christian, but I was like that with everything, like morality or anything else. And you guys have no business. You rest of humanity have no business telling me what to do. That's how I was before I was a Christian. After I became a Christian, okay, then there are obviously people that have authority and obviously people who that I should listen to and stuff. But then you guys come along. Everyone has to do what we say or will. All right. I definitely don't like I definitely don't respond well to threats or going after people's wives, all in a pathetic attempt to control everyone else. And it's like a huge problem in Islam. So get used to it, guys. Get used to it. We're going to keep going because some of you guys are really slow learners. All right. Only thing I wanted to check out else. And then I think we got like a couple super chats left, but did want to take a look at a couple of definitions of things, just so you guys can see why I'm confused. First, let's start with the FBI. And I'm legitimately wondering this. I'm legitimately, and you actually see there's confusion, period, and people acknowledge that there are conflicting views of things. But check this out, right? So this is the FBI. It's the FBI here. Terrorism. Protecting the United States from terrorist attacks is the FBI's #1 priority. I didn't even know that was their #1 priority. The Bureau works closely with its partners to neutralize terrorist cells and operatives in the United States, help dismantle extremist networks worldwide, and cut off financing and other forms of support provided to foreign terrorist organizations. So we're all familiar with that. But look at this. This is the thing. Terrorism definition. So international terrorism. That's what we're normally thinking of. Violent criminal acts committed by individuals and or groups who are inspired by or associated with designated foreign terrorist organizations or nations, state-sponsored. Okay. But then you have domestic terrorism. Now check out the FBI's definition here. Violent criminal acts. Hey guys, we'll take a poll after this. We'll read through a couple definitions and then I'll ask the question. I'll ask the question whether you think what these guys are doing is terrorism. Domestic terrorism. Violent criminal acts committed by individuals and or groups to further ideological goals stemming from domestic influences such as those of a political, religious, social, racial, or environmental nature. So guys, that's a lot of people miss this. There'll be like some mass murder and you'll see Muslims going, oh, but you don't call him a terrorist, but if it was a Muslim, you would call a terrorist. Terrorism has to be connected to some agenda for spreading an ideology or opposing an ideology. If a guy just is like snaps and goes and kills a bunch of people, or he wants to end his own life and take a bunch of people with him, and he goes, that's mass murder. Okay, guys, that's evil, to be clear. But if he's not doing it for some sort of ideological agenda, it's not terrorism is a special category. You have to be doing it to promote some ideology or to attack some ideology or something like that. It has to be connected to something, right? Anyway, but notice domestic terrorism. So they include that it has to be to further ideological goals. So you're opposing an ideology or you're supporting an ideology, but that's the point of the terrorist attack. But look at what they say. Violent criminal acts. Well, guess what? Ramsey didn't do any violent criminal acts that I'm aware of. So what's going on there? So let me pull up another one. Right. So in other words, my point is, according to the FBI's definition, doesn't seem like you would think that's terrorism at all. But then I go over to, so this is Congress, right? So this is U.S. government. So these are both U.S. government websites. Then you have a different picture over here. So this is Congress. And this is on understanding and conceptualizing domestic terrorism issues for Congress. We'll just read the beginning here. Summary. The federal government defines, so this is the federal government. The federal government defines domestic terrorism as ideologically driven crimes committed by individuals in the United States that are intended to intimidate or coerce a civilian population or influence the policy or conduct of the government. So I don't see anything where these guys are trying to influence the policy or conduct of the government. But look at what you have here. Ideologically driven crimes. Okay. Are these guys committing ideologically driven crimes? Well, yeah, if they're Muslims and they're obsessed with people opposing their religion and they're willing to commit crimes because of their ideology committed by individuals in the United States that are intended to intimidate or coerce a civilian population. Well, that sounds exactly like what these guys are doing. Ideologically driven crimes committed by individuals in the United States that are intended to intimidate or coerce a civilian population. That's us. It seems like they're trying to intimidate and coerce, and they are committing crimes, it's doxing and threatening and all that stuff. So but again, I don't know enough about the law to know, okay, to me that sounds like it, but I don't know if it has to be like more extreme. I don't know if it has to be much bigger than just like, giving people's addresses and threatening them and threatening to kill them if they show up to this debate and posting pictures of their wives with gunshot sounds and stuff like that. I don't know if there's like some threshold that it has to reach. Just one more. Just had one more to bring up here, and this is just like a general. This is like a general definition. So this is just like I just went to Encyclopedia Britannica online, But here they say, terrorism is not legally defined in all jurisdictions. That's what I mean. Like different groups and so on, different organizations are giving different definitions. Terrorism is not legally defined in all jurisdictions. The statutes that do exist, however, generally share some common elements. Terrorism involves the use or, now here's what I'm saying. The terrorism involves the use or threat of violence and seeks to create fear, not just within the direct victims, but among a wide audience. So I guess there it would be not just to make you, David Wood, afraid, good luck with that, but also to kind of warn others not to do this. So terrorism involves the use or threat of violence that seeks to create fear, not just within the direct victims, but among a wide audience. The degree to which it relies on fear distinguishes terrorism from both conventional and guerrilla warfare. So it focuses not just on like war. I mean, it doesn't. If you just went out and fought, it would be like warfare. But it relies on fear. You're trying to instill fear through your violence or your threats of violence. Although conventional military forces invariably engage in psychological warfare against the enemy, their principal means of victory is strength of arms. Similarly, guerrilla forces, which often rely on acts of terror and other forms of propaganda, aim at military victory and occasionally succeed. Terrorism proper is thus the calculated use of violence to generate fear and thereby to achieve political goals when direct military victory is not possible. This has led some social scientists to refer to guerrilla warfare as the weapon of the weak and terrorism as the weapon of the weakest. In other words, you want to subjugate people, you want to win, but you can't, and so you rely on something else. You rely on violence, but then they said violence or threats of violence. And you have to say, like, I mean, imagine someone just calls in like bomb threats all the time. Well, he's not actually committing any violence if he's just calling in the threats. But that would seem like terrorism to me. But I don't know if like doxing counts, but they are trying to like scare us all into not opposing Islam as it spreads and so on. Anyway, all right, guys. So that's what I was wondering. Let's do a poll real quick, because I really have no clue what people think on this. I hadn't thought about it a lot. Is what Malik and Ramsey Abboushi doing a version of terrorism? Is what Malik and Ramsey Abboushi are doing Here's what Malik and Ramsey Abboushi are doing. A version of terrorism. I don't know. Again, I'm looking at the definition. I'm like, well, it kind of seems like that. Not the FBI's one, but the Congress's one. It kind of looks like that, but don't know. Anyway, we have that poll. All right, we'll take these last couple super chats, and then we'll check the results. Let's see. Bad influence on Issa. Guys, he's cracking wise now. Stop cracking wise, man. I don't know what that means. Shout out to Thad for gathering all the info. Yes. Keep in mind, guys, I mean, I guess it's possible that someone else would end up doing this or something like that. But if Thaddeus was not watching all this and compiling all these clips and stuff, I would not be having these live streams going through this stuff. So
I have a question about Sister Aisha. How's that been going from the Muhammad hijab scandal?
Hey, why don't you see videos if they become available and be asking behind the scenes instead of in public? We'll literally be done with this live stream in the next couple minutes, and you could ask Thaddeus. Instead, you're like,
sure.
Why don't you share everyone's? Keep in mind, I don't know. I'm just like, normally if it's like someone who's been being targeted.
I was about to answer, enemy. But David makes a good point.
Yeah. It's basically someone who's public enemy number one for some of the Dawa guys who hate her and stuff like this. I'm always like, wait for her to say it, and anything else, I would say don't share it unless she's specifically given permission or something like that. Yeah.
Oh, I just meant like on a general statement. I didn't mean like specifically. I'm like, have things been going well, and have you been
You can
like
ask
in contact? That's
you can ask behind the
sure,
scenes because
of
Thaddeus is
course.
the one who kind of set up the discussions we had before, and so he knows her pretty well. Let's see. Shout out to Thad for gathering all the info. Yes, and more to come because here in the next we don't want to talk. I mean, didn't want to talk about this for this weekend. Good Friday and then Easter and stuff like that. But we kind of, since they're talking about escalating and going after people's wives, we didn't want to wait anymore on the Ramsey stuff. So and then next week we'll be getting to Malik next week. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, wouldn't be happening without Thaddeus. Shout out to Issa for actually being honest. Yeah, that's a good point. Honest and consistent. That's pretty rare. Wonder if Sufis are just built like that. The Human Centipede is a cinematic masterpiece. Oh my goodness! If you know who didn't run Hollywood, if you know who didn't run Hollywood, it would have won all the Oscars. Well, Issa, if using human comprehension, you end up with a god that has 2 right feet, exposed chins, and is the creator of a celestial whorehouse. I don't think Issa believes in that stuff, man.
Yeah, that's more of a Salafi perspective, but
See, he offered chicken sandwiches, so you should let him slide on the doxing.
Yeah.
It
He offered
reminds
you a $5 meal, David.
Yeah, it just reminded me of the movie sucked. Well, it didn't suck. It should have been way better. Gosh, what's that movie? Suicide Squad. I read the comic book like once or twice when I was a kid, because I would steal comics and I would read some of them. But Suicide Squad, and the movie, right? But anyway, they get what's his name? Will Smith's character, Deadshot. They get Deadshot, and they want him to work for the Suicide Squad and stuff. And they bring him up to all the guns, and he turns and he points at some guy. He points at one of the guards who's been tormenting him. The guy goes, "Come on, you remember I gave you that cookie one time?" That's what it sounded like. Remember that time I offered you a chicken sandwich? Yeah, shouldn't I get to slide on, possibly trying to get a bunch of you massacred, or at least trying to scare and intimidate you guys and making you get doxxed and trying to screw up your lives. Offered you a chicken sandwich, man. Speaking became silent. Hey, no speaking, man. Why aren't you speaking? Would Malik's actions be considered terrorism since he publicly threatened a hit out on you, D-Wood, during DebateCon? Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. And I seriously don't know. David, stop saying I'm going to do a poll. I know I can't help the associations with Muhammad, but I'm just going to have to come up with different words. But what do? It's like, do you want a poll? Oh gosh, you can't say that. The context has to be. You just can't say it anymore, man, because everyone's got screwed up, dirty minds, all thanks to the hadiths. It's ruined everything, man. Anyway, more super chats for longer live stream, but I guess Issa getting pretty. Oh, it's getting late, guys. It's getting late. And brothers, please do a stream on topic that Allah is not the God of the Old Testament and that we don't worship the same God. This is what those serpents use to deceive. Yeah. Once new live streaming studio is all set up, gonna have Anthony. Anthony is gonna start doing a weekly show with me. We want to do it on Tuesday just because it can be called Trinity versus Tawheed Tuesday. But yep, we will be doing that stuff. All right, I have not looked at the poll yet, even though Muhammad did, but we're talking about a completely different sense. Hey, where'd the poll go? Oh, dang. I did not know what people were going to say, but we had 217 votes, and 88% said they think, I figured it was going to be most, but that's pretty darn decisive. Mm-hmm. Like, I wouldn't have been surprised if it was
with all those definitions, you can pick what you want, right? Some of those are really easy to meet and some are really hard. So,
yep. Up now it's 89. So 220 votes. 89% said to answer the question, is what Malik and Ramsey Abboushi are doing a version of terrorism? 89% said yes. Me, I'd have been like 50-50. Like I would have said, okay, according to, because I would have said, okay, there are different definitions and the FBI disagrees with this one. So that's some room for doubt. But also, again, you got the definition, but I don't know. Like if I say, hey, quit running your mouth or I'll punch you in the face. Like I wouldn't consider that terrorism, even though it's kind of, I'm trying to like stop you from doing, but I guess, yeah, it has to be, part of the definition was it has to be to like intimidate a wider group, but they are doing that. They are trying to send a message to anyone who kind of crosses Islam. All right, yeah, I'm still not saying yes. I don't know enough about it. We'd probably need an expert. Hey, we should get a lawyer to explain it. Hey, Ramsey. Hey, Ramsey, you want to jump on and explain what I'm missing here about the definition of thing?
What the audience is missing? See, you're neutral, but the audience is very strongly saying yes. And just for the record, I actually voted no, because in my mind, terrorism requires the violent act. All right, my definition, my personal definition, is more like the FBI's one. That I define terrorism as violence by a non-government agency for a political purpose. So, in my opinion, it's not technically terrorism. No, that doesn't make it any better. Of course, it just means it's a different word. But under my technical definition of terrorism, I voted no.
Okay, so Thaddeus has his personal definition. So just to be clear, if someone was calling up terrorist threats against schools every day, Thaddeus would say that is not terrorism. And what that person did is perfectly acceptable.
Violence or threat of violence, but just intimidation or just trying to persuade someone to a political cause through unethical or criminal acts, I wouldn't say is automatically terrorism.
Yeah, that's what, because I mean that's what I'm like. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking like I think it would be obvious if you were calling in bomb threats against schools and stuff like that for your agenda that would be terrorism. But I think that's where. It's like, wouldn't it have to be something big? Wouldn't it have to be big? And is this big enough to be in the category of that? And yep, I don't know. All right, everyone. So that's what we wanted to cover. Any last words on this, Thaddeus, until we're covering some more in a few days?
Yeah, I'm actually glad that you decided to take Easter off. I normally would not stream on Good Friday, and for various personal reasons, I haven't been active for a long time. So you can thank Malik. You can thank Malik for sure of getting me back into this. If he'd come after me personally, I probably would have been somewhat motivated. But what really motivates me is him going after people that there's no reason to go after, right? Who are not involved. Especially if they're friends of mine, but even if they're not friends of mine, like, I know God logic, but I wouldn't consider him a friend. Right. But I'm very bothered by them doing that. If he's attacking me, I mean, I can understand how from their perspective, I would deserve it. But other people, you want to, and you probably don't care whether I'm involved or not. I'm not under the delusion that what I do is super important to Muslims, but I'm just an example, right? I'm just an example. I'm sure many Christians are likewise motivated. In fact, actually including David himself, because when he started opposing Islam, he didn't do this kind of behavior of, Quran desecration. And
little side note, they've sent me like thousands of death threats over the years. You guys never seen me. You didn't see me ripping up the Quran in response. You didn't. I never even reported any of them. So I'm kind of like Thaddeus in that. It's, you're going after people's wives? Okay, you are escalating in a completely different direction now. And I'm willing to escalate however far I need to.
Yep, so that's my one thought. And then the other thought is that, I genuinely will be praying for Ramsey, and I hope he comes to real repentance and gets out of Islam and comes to know the saving grace of God. Not that I wouldn't be praying for Malik, but I don't have any hope for Malik. But hey, you never know. God is sovereign, right? I believe in a God who is in control, but it would definitely take a direct intervention from God in Malik's case. But You know, on this holy weekend, I am praying for our enemies. That is my message.
Yeah, and as far as Malik, yeah, that's the issue with Malik. Um, Someone like Ramsey still seems like capable of thinking through these and so on. Someone who is so narcissistic and screwed up as Malik, that's a guy who has to hit. He just has to hit absolute rock bottom. And so that's why, guys, it's good for him. It'll be good for him to go to jail and learn consequences and so on. And that's not, ha ha ha, look what happened to you, ha ha, in your face. That is, this guy can't go through life like this. You can't, you don't want to spend your entire life just being an evil scumbag who like does nothing except, guys, I'm Clark Pyru. I'm a gangster. Hey, oh, look, I'll dock someone else. Oh, here's a picture of someone's wife. Oh, here's a picture of someone's cousin. Ha ha. Ooh, I'm going to get you fired from your jobs. Like what more of a pathetic existence could you possibly have than that? And if he doesn't see how screwed up he is and what a little sniveling, pathetic crybaby he is, we're gonna have to teach. He's gonna have to teach him, and it's for his good, guys. It is for his own good. Malik, we're here to help you, buddy. We're here to help you, the hard way, not in the Zut sense. Issa, final thoughts on any of this, man?
I think it's extremely wild. Um, it kind of blows my mind what I'm seeing here. Um, I think doxing is evil. Um, I think a lot of this stuff is just I don't know. Like you're supposed to be like a representative of Islam, and you're supposed to defend Islam. And in reality, and the idea is you're trying to say Islam is this good religion. It's a kind religion. It's an empathetic religion. That's the position you're taking, right? But you're doing all these evil things, right? You know what people are going to think? They're going to think Islam is evil. If you're going to be the ambassador of Islam and you act evil, then you make Islam look evil. And if that's what you want to do, then you're being successful. You're not winning. And we've seen a lot of these apologists who will say very evil things and do evil things. And, I think what happens is they basically, if they feel that they're in opposition to Christian apologists and the Christian apologists are saying that the texts are evil and the tradition's evil, well, that's what's going to be reflected. So if that's what they want, then, then that's what they're winning. If they want Islam to be seen as this decent, noble, good religion, then they're going to have to take a very different route. That's what I think. It's not playing out good for them. They look pretty bad. They look pretty awful. They look pretty grotesque, and they're embarrassing themselves. That's the thing that I'm seeing. And the thing that we've noticed from all of this is that none of them even have arguments for Islam. It's not about Islam now. It's just about, well, I'm in this tribe, they're in another tribe, and I just want to beat the other tribe. It's not about debates anymore, and I think that that's the complete loss. This whole thing is about you need to defend that your argument is good. And I don't even think that they even know what arguments, because I don't even think they take the time to study. That's the thing that I've learned. They spend so much time figuring out how to destroy people's families and destroy people's lives that they haven't invested the time to actually learn these religions. And that's what they should invest their time in.
Yeah, and there's a comment here that agrees with. By the way, I was saying something similar. I was saying it, said it multiple streams over last year, and I think a little bit the year before. But been saying Islam is going to become more like a gang. It's not, hey, I'm joining this because I think it's the truth about God. I'm joining it because it's a big group, and this is my group, and I joined this group. People don't join a gang because they think it's got the truth about God. They join a gang because it's a big group, and they want protection. And as long as you're part of this big group, then you have the protection of this group. And that's what it's seeming like. It's like, oh, we're in this gang, and they're thinking of everyone else as other gangs, and let's attack all the other gangs. And it's just got less and less to do with anything true at any point. But here you have a comment here saying something similar. Dr. Gold says, these people make me less likely to convert, besides the evidence not being with them. Love you guys, not in the Zut sense. God bless you guys. But yeah, it's like, okay, I don't see any evidence for Islam. I'm not going to join. But, at least before, you could have presented a case to me and made me maybe possibly rethink my ways, but you guys are just repulsive. I'm not interested in anything you got to say. You're disgusting individuals. And so now I'm repulsed by your religion. Don't tell me about it. I'm not even interested. I think that's the reaction they're going to give lots of people. Oh, called the ex-wife a whore. Oh, wow, man. That makes so many people want to take what you say seriously. Bunch of dorks, man.
Mm-hmm.
Snitches get the strength of 30 men. Actually, oh, you hear that? That's a good line, man. That's a brilliant line. Snitches get the strength of 30 men. It doesn't go well for snitches, so they end up getting the strength of 30 men. Yeah. What are you saying, Thaddeus?
On the previous comment, not on this one, I think that's actually brings up a different Dawa dilemma, right? You have your Dawa dilemma, but a different Dawa dilemma is, how do you get popular? You get popular by being a tough guy and, being the guy who won't back down no matter what. That seems to be what the people who, let's just say, watch a lot of videos and thus influence the algorithm. That's what they want. At the same time, that's not what most Muslims want, right? Mm-hmm. Most Muslims are not interested in that kind of thing. They genuinely think, mistakenly, but nonetheless genuinely, that Islam is a beautiful, peaceful religion, and they also are thus repulsed by what they see in Dawah. So your options are: do what a minority want and become popular on social media that doesn't bring anyone to Islam and pushes Muslims away, or do what will not make you popular, but could potentially help Muslims and non-Muslims consider Islam as a good religion. And thus, they got a real problem on their hands, because the exact behavior that's being encouraged is what's leading to the destruction of Islam in the public sphere.
Yep, that's about it. By the way, I think you said taking Easter off.
I said usually.
You mean of this topic, right? I'm just saying, I don't think I'm going to take Easter off. I think it's just going to be something about the resurrection or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't want to be talking about Islam, right?
Yeah.
I have many times.
I certainly don't want to be talking about Malik and stuff like that for Easter. Weird that we did it on Good Friday. Again, guys, they're just kind of, they're escalating, and it's like, well, we don't want to wait till next week on this, because we're going to have other stuff to do next week. So anyway, all right, guys, thanks everyone for watching. Let me screenshot this poll result. All the Zoot jokes people have made over the years, I don't know where you guys came up with this weird stuff, but all these Zoot jokes you guys been making now, I just looked at, I can click on end poll, right? And I was thinking, poll in Mo's end. I can't even read anything now without thinking of some stupid Zoot joke. Because of y'all. All right, I screenshotted that. All right, guys, catch you all later. Thanks for watching. Not sure what we got coming up this weekend. Not sure what AP wants to do tomorrow. I did keep the evening open in case he wants to live stream about something, but we'll see. We went to 100 places and back, still live going on. Yep, get used to it. That's how we roll. All right, everyone. Catch you next time.